Alrighty, looks like we should be live. Should be good to go. Gonna check technical bits, and then we will get going. Welcome in, welcome in. Good to see you. Alright, let me get the chat where the chat goes, as the usual. There we go, there we go, there we go. I'll bring it up here, that's fine. Hey guys, you're the Ranger. Hope you're having a fantastic day, and welcome to, a stream. It's a chill stream today. It's a chill stream. We are chilling. I was gonna do this over the last, 2 days, but I had a first shift at my new job today. Like, not the first shift, but the first shift. I had a morning shift, right? So I had a morning shift at my new job. I had to cover because that's not what I was hired for. I was hired for a second shift. So this upcoming week I'll be on afternoons like I'm supposed to be, but it's just this first week has been a lot of mornings for the training, and then today was just, hey, we need somebody to do first. You're good, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Fine, we'll do that. Just because. And yeah, so I was gonna do it the last 2 days, but I was wiped. I was like, you know what? Why don't I just relax, recover? It's gonna be a long week going forwards, just readjusting everything. So I was gonna do 2 shorter streams over the last 2 days, so I was like, I'll do it on Saturday. And then Saturday came around, I was like, I am still getting the mojo together, for the new job. So today I figured, you know what? I had the morning shift. I'm not gonna go to bed until like midnight because that's gonna be my new cutoff. Like not get in bed, but the whole thing. I'm trying to make midnight my thing because if I'm gonna be working 2 to 10, like I usually do, then I get home at 10. I just eat something real quick or whatever, brush my teeth, go straight to bed, and then I'm, should usually wake up around 8 in the morning or something like that, 8 or 9, which should be fine for me, because then I got a little bit of time before I go to work, so that's good. Anywho, that way I'm not sleeping all day and staying up all night, even though I prefer to do that, but besides the point. Anywho, we are here for Carbot's animations, all the seasons, all the Starcrafts. We are just going to watch through all of them. I was going to split it up into 2 different streams, but I just figured we'll just spend the rest of the day doing this. Well, not the rest of the day. It's only take 5 hours, but yeah. So yeah, 5 or 6 hours, depends how much I yap, how much input I give. So this is Carbot. This is their, everything. Ow. Loud as fuck. And stupid annoying ads. There you go. 5% dumbass ads. Annoying ads. I wouldn't be that mad at ads. They were good ads, but there's no good ads nowadays. They're all crap. Everything is crap, so all the ads are crap, too. And half the ones on YouTube are pure scams, which is just crazy to me that, you, as a content creator, are not supposed to be, re-uploading it. If you upload a music video, I'll do music edits sometimes, just for the hell of it. And I have had every single time I've done that, even though it is by definition transformative, because I am pairing it with completely different visuals that have nothing to do with the original artist, right? Oop. I hit a piece on my keyboard. Even though I do that, YouTube still goes, oh, we detected the song. You can't show 5 seconds of something without YouTube getting pissed. But YouTube can spam you with a bunch of spam ads that are scams and garbage. I think I got a literal porn ad the other day. Not, it wasn't one of those, sometimes there'll be like certain creators that get sponsored by AdamandEve.com, and I'm like, okay, that's a crossover I wasn't expecting, but sure, like Goobist, he he occasionally gets a sponsor from them for some reason. It's like, okay, not seeing the crossover here, but sure. Anyway, I guess because he's technically like adult humor, so it kind of falls in that range. But yeah, no, I swear I saw that. It was like I had never ever seen one that was a literal like, and this wasn't like a titty game mobile game ad, right? Like that's happened sometimes on the sidebars, right? That just happens. That's how YouTube is. But this was just straight up like for a porn site or whatever. I'm like, or like some hookup app or something. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like it's not even like Tinder. It's just like, we're just like, what the fuck, YouTube? I'm like, why are you showing me this randomly on this video that has nothing to do with that at all? It's like, how would you even suggest that? What the fuck? Anyway, this is Starcrafts. This is made by Carbot. These animations are years old. So the actual compilations are only like around 2020 or so. It's when he did like some of these compilations and uploaded them. But the actual videos are way old. Like in internet terms, they are quite old. So like Starcrafts episode 1, because he did them in these little spurts. So the reason I'm watching this is because these are all compiled together as one list, and so they're each of these is a compilation of the whole season of content that he did. But they originally came out, as many things on the internet do, as basically webisodes. They came out as these little things. So it's like the Guild, right, where the Guild had webisodes and then later got compiled together by other people, by even the main source. Sometimes it's a third party that will compile things together. Like, Game Grumps, Neves Gaming, they'll do compilations of things sometimes. Like, oh, it's the I think Game Grumps actually calls it like Legend of Zelda the movie or whatever when they do it, and it's like 7-hour video because it's an entire playthrough of them playing like whatever game. But no, you can see these are little just animated chunks of like, yeah, it took them a while, but yeah, no, the first one was like, well, this was the promo trailer, which was 11 years ago, but this is saying 12 years, so it's YouTube's got that kind of weird backwards thing. I don't know. This is like I think he made this after he completed the first season and then went on to the second season. He was using this as like a way to prime people for it. But yeah, actually 12 years ago was the first one. So the animation at first, it's gonna be decent, but it's gonna be a little rough in some of the designs and stuff. It works as animation and it works as Carbot's style, his iconic style that he developed over the course of this. But yeah, no, he's if you've never seen any StarCraft stuff before, then you'll probably that's the really sad part about StarCrafts is it's so old that I don't think people even know about it, even though it's some of his best work. Like his new stuff is fantastic, but his newer stuff, he's got like a team with him now. StarCrafts was originally just Carbot, the original guy, the one guy doing it all himself, right? And basically studying while doing it. But no, you probably know him for all of his like Elden Ring and Monster Hunter videos and stuff, things like that. So he usually that's how he did with Starcrafts is that he sort of picked that out and was like, yep, this is the thing. So occasionally he'll have these sponsored ads. So he's like he does an animation as an ad for mobile games like Genshin Impact or whatever. Which fine, hey, get the bread, that's fine. Because it's not like he's just interjecting it into random videos. He's making a whole dedicated thing for it. Anyway, so yeah, you get kind of the vibe for it. This is old. This is not really old school YouTube. Like I guess it kind of would be, because this is 2025. So if we go back 12 years, that's 2013. Yeah, that's kind of prime YouTube era. Is what is considered the golden age of YouTube? Because there's a difference, right? There's like, I think it's like the peak. It was somewhere because there was an early point in YouTube where it was not considered good at all, right? It was just, hey, here's this weird video site, right? And it was the start of like it was like YouTube content 2005. So there was like stuff in the 2005 that was just like random videos, right? It's like what was YouTube like in 2005? You look up videos for this, but like I like at the time I was only 9 years old, so I didn't really know YouTube. But this is the weird part of being whatever you want to call it. I think the most accurate term I've heard for it so far is zillennial, right? So it's like when you're right on the cusp of the end of one and the beginning of the other for a generation. It's very weird because I I have enough knowledge of the internet and memes and things to kind of pull the hello fellow kids shit, right? I kind of get it, but there's some things I will never understand simply because I don't want to. Like I don't even want to attempt to understand any of the brain rot the kids are the kids are going through nowadays. I'm like the whole like Ohio memes and the whole like how skibbity toilet ever became a thing. It's like what the fuck are you people talking about? You know, it's so weird. Like, but there's other things I kind of get the words and I can use them. It just doesn't feel right to use them because they feel younger than me. It's a weird phenomenon with vocabulary. The internet is very strange in that regard. That it just continues going. There's not like a beginning and an end like there was with other technologies. The internet is all encompassing and will just continue and consume and whatever. Anywho, but yeah, no, this I think would be considered peak because peak YouTube is somewhere around 2010, right? So as with most things culturally, it was pretty peak between like 2008 and 2015, and that's sort of the like, am I saying that because that's when I was a child and nostalgia? Maybe a little bit, but I think there is genuinely you can study it and say, you know, hey, it's actually interesting. A server I'm in, they were had somebody that was promoting a questionnaire they had because they're doing a psychology degree. They're being like a therapist or whatever, and one of their assignments basically is to come up with a whole. You have to write like a whole thesis, a whole paper. It's not just like how do you feel. It's like no, how like they're doing a study on how Gen Z has been affected by that. And technically, I fall in that age range, even though I'm the oldest kind of Gen Z. I'm like right on the edge of calling myself that. So again, it's weird, but I do think, objectively speaking, the world because it was the damn phone. Just sound like a boomer for a minute. It was the damn phone, right? If the smartphone had not popped off like it did, and like we really should limit technology and say, nah, phones need to be made dumber. We need to go back to having dumb smartphones, like simple things. The only thing it should be able to do is play Angry Birds and watch YouTube. No Twitter, no nothing, none of this. In all the time and apps and apps and apps. Like too many apps, too much problems. So you're connected too much. Okay, the computer lives in the house. The phone is for emergencies only in the pocket. That's it. The flip phone was peak. The 90s tech was peak. If we could go back to 90s tech, but with modern conveniences, that'd be great. You know. Or even if you say, well, we can't have the modern conveniences, fine. I just give me Blockbuster back. We'll go back to VHS. I don't care. you know. I mean, I think DVDs are okay, but it's like once you get to streaming, it's like, all right, cut that shit out. I'm over it. Anyway, let's get started because there's a lot of these to watch. As you can see, there's like, let's see, 7 seasons, I think. Yeah, so there's 7 seasons. Yeah, there's 7 seasons. There's a Halloween special. And then there's the Brood War. The Brood War is season 4. It's not really a season though, because it's only like 14 minutes, so it's kind of a mini season. It's like a mid-season thing, because it falls right in the middle of all the other ones, so it's kind of the mid-story kind of filler episode, basically. I don't know. You guys will see what I mean. So yeah, you can see the art style is quite rough in the beginning. I'm gonna crank that up a little, because Carbot's actually quite good at audio balance, unlike other people. Like, specifically game devs that will just be like, yeah, no, sound fine. It's like, balance some shit. So this is cool. Anybody that knows Starcraft will recognize this immediately. This is like a rip on, I believe it was, I want to say it was Starcraft 2 this was a parody of. Because when he did these, Starcraft 2 was a thing, but the actual narrative of it, it's weird. Because it's like intermixed. It doesn't have StarCraft 2 stuff until later on in the seasons. So it's like it kind of starts parroting normal StarCraft stuff that everybody knows, and then it kind of catches up to memes relevant to the StarCraft 2 era of, the game. But yeah, I think this is supposed to be parodying StarCraft 2, specifically one of the characters he gets put in this suit, right? And he has this kind of thing where he's got this load up sequence where they put him there. And the reason I know is because this screen usually says like prisoner status, whatever. It's a really cool thing.
Think all window tint is the same?
God, we just got it.
Think again.
Fuck off! I don't need window tint.
Rejection. UV.
Fuck off. Anyway, so yeah. But yeah, I would like to show you guys the actual trailers, but I swear Blizzard would get so mad at me. But if you've seen the meme, there's like, it's actually, yeah. You've probably seen it. You probably know what I'm talking about, for StarCraft 2. It's like, the... I love when anybody, like, does a cartoon or something, and they have awesome music, and they just cut the music as part of the bit to just kill all the drama and go straight to comedy. So this actually is, as you can see, that's promoting the StarCraft cartoon mod, which is for StarCraft, and I believe he also did it for StarCraft 2 at a certain point. So it's an actual mod you can get if you're playing StarCraft or StarCraft 2. You can buy that mod. It's like $10 or whatever. It's a skin pack, basically. And it mods the game to be all of Carbot. He did custom animations and everything for it. So that was the promo part. This is the actual first thing that he came out with. So you can see, even though I'm watching in 1080p, back in the day it was like 480p uploads. That was like 720p was kind of crazy era for YouTube, where it's like, whoa, we're finally getting like 720 and 1080, and now all the kids are on like 4K. No. This one time. So yeah, the designs are not quite solidified yet. I love the zealot. As a kid, I always thought it was called a zealot. I read it as zealot and not a zealot. I didn't know what a zealot was. And I played StarCraft when I was like 9 or 10. So I had no fucking idea, man. I had no idea, I swear. So yeah. At this point, you don't have any named characters or anything. They don't have any real personality. It's just, here's the Marines doing Marine stuff and whatever. And it's actually kind of staggered when you look at them. It is somewhat staggered like the campaigns of StarCraft 1, which was you had to play through the Terran campaign. You had to play through the you had to do the Terran. You would do the Terran campaign, then the Protoss campaign, and then the Zerg campaign. And then I believe the Zerg also had their main thing was like there was Brood War. Brood War was an expansion set, so you didn't just get updates, kids, back in the day. You had to actually buy expansions for single-player games. Like, you had to buy the DLC physically with discs, put it into the machine. So if you want to play Brood War, but your Brood War disc was fucked, guess what? You don't get to play Brood War. That's one of those things that I think we could leave in the past, but at the same time, we've seen what live service has done to games. It's fucked everything up. The Zerglings are fantastic. They're just adorable. I love the Zerglings. And a lot of these became plushies, and Carbot sells them as plushies. That and the Elden Ring guys and stuff, they have little plushies for them. So that's actually the origin story, by the way. Hang on, let me back up. See this guy on the right here? See how he has like a thing missing on his butt? There is an origin story for this character. That's Patches. So later he gets called Patches because he's like he's missing a chunk out of his suit and they had to sew it back up with a patch. So he gets called Patches. The other guy breaks his helmet at some point, and everybody started calling him Crackhead because he has a crack in his head, so he's Crackhead. And then everybody else is sort of unnamed, but yeah, it's great. I fucking love the Protoss, though. Absolutely hands down favorite faction. Like, not even close. Like, all the factions are great, but the Protoss just, they go so hard. There's something about just the way they look. They look these big stringy aliens, but they have these big massive chest armor pieces and stuff. It's just good. Yeah. He's like, oh, what happened? Oh no. I love the way his little bandana thing falls off. Like he's so shocked it comes off. Oh, the vultures. So these are vultures. These are little like guys. They burn rubber. They're basically biker gangs, but for the Terran faction. It's so funny. Which, if you know anything about the history of this is something I only recently learned in the last 2 years or so, that StarCraft actually was supposed to be a Warhammer game. But GW, in classic dumbass GW fashion that hates fun, they said, nah, we won't want to give you the license for that. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll just do I Can't Believe It's Not Warhammer and do our own story and stuff. And so basically that's, the humans they're supposed to be the Imperium, but they're the Terran Federation, right? The Terran Confederacy, I believe is what they actually call themselves. And Confederacy in the most literal sense, by the way. They're like in original StarCraft, there's like Western music, cowboy, space cowboy type shit. And they have actual ships. Some of their ships in their trailers actually have the battle flag of the Confederate States of America. It's crazy. And they all speak with like southern accents and stuff. It's great. Anyway, so there's that, and then there's the Protoss, who are supposed to be the Eldar, right, from Warhammer, but they're not. So they just okay, or the Tau even. Technically, they could be considered the Tau, but I'm not sure when the Tau exactly was introduced. I think it was around that time the Tau were being introduced. They're kind of more Tau than Eldar, but it's like Tau and Eldar kind of similar vibes. And then you have the Zerg, the Tyranids. Come on, man. Of course, the Tyranids. But it's funny when you think about it because you have these little speed freak guys, and in game they have these little profile pictures. So the way the UI is set up for StarCraft, you have like your map over here ish. You've got your command zone here of like when you select troops, you see what their health and armor stats and everything are here. Then you have command window over here, and between the command window of like attack, defend, whatever, and this you have this little portrait. They had a gap in it, so they're like, well, if there's a border there, why don't we just put something fun there? And every time you clicked on a unit, as if you know anything about RTS games, when you click on a unit, you get a little portrait of the guy, and it'll be this animated portrait. They fucking ruined it in the remaster, by the way. Let's take a look at that actually. Starcraft character portrait versus remaster. So they like fucked up the graphics so badly in the remaster. They just don't feel right in any way, right? They just feel weird. So you have your classic, like look at some of these. And I've bitched about this before, and I'm gonna bitch about it again. You get such, like, you get the old school stuff, right? So you can see there's this weird 90s 3D because of the inability to render at the time. There wasn't all the kinks hadn't been worked out of rendering actual people and humanoids and things. You had a lot of this graininess in the game, and that was also because of the game's memory and real-time running and all this. So you had these portraits, and they would have this sort of blur aliasing around them, and it kind of added to it. It felt like you were talking to them through a comm, especially like if you click on a thing, you would, whenever somebody would interject in a conversation, your little screen down there, like if you were Terran, it would turn into a static blurb real quick, and then like a screen of static, and then the unit that was talking would come up, and they'd go back and forth like that. It just, oh man. But you can see a lot of these are not a lot of detail, very smooth, harsh shadows to try and hide the fact that they couldn't render everything correctly, right? So you can see what it's supposed to look like, right? Then, if we go look at StarCraft Remastered Unit Portraits, right? So you guys can see the idea behind it. But if you look at the new ones, they're so smooth and so perfect and dumb looking. They're just so fucking boring. Like, it's fine if you want to render shit, that's okay, but like, they just don't feel right. Like look at all these for the Terrans and stuff. And they had weird proportions too, but they all felt very unique. Like, this is clearly a human head, you can tell that, but this guy's got a longer face, he's got more of a chin. Raynor, this was Jim Raynor back in the day. Now he's a himbo. Like, StarCraft 2, Jim Raynor. It's like, later on, they do StarCraft 2, and they turn him into this fucking Giga Chad, biker, outlaw-looking guy. So he's very rendered and whatever, very outlaw, like, oh, cool. But this was just him back in the day. Clean cut, whatever, because back in the day, he was a military guy. The whole thing with StarCraft's, like, StarCraft wanted a whole narrative to it. There's a reason that Jim is no longer considered as part of the Confederacy and all that. It's great. But you can feel the vibe here. There's such a vibe to this. But this thing, I mean, this is supposed to be a Wraith. Or maybe this is a Wraith. Like, that's the thing. You can't see, like, graphics comparison. So maybe we'll get a decent graphic comparison from this. So you can see, like, that's the Hydralisk, the Probe. They're in such high fidelity, though, that it's boring. Like, look at the Battlecruiser, right? It has this great aliasing to it. So if we just... trying to see. Yeah, okay, I can control that. Cool. So it has this great aliasing to it where you're not meant to zoom in and look at it perfectly. You're supposed to be seeing it from farther away. And you can tell that by the resolution on the ground and everything. This is a screenshot that somebody took from a lesser display, from like a CRT. This is the classic look, right? This is back when you had the fat back vacuum tube fucking monitors, you know? You had a monitor that had to have its own, like, it had to have its own interior architecture, right? And it was heavy because it had to be heavy so it would be weighted down. It wouldn't tilt, and because if it tilted, it might break. But it had like proper glass, right? Old monitors, old CRTs and stuff had proper actual. Okay, I don't know what that was about, but they had proper real glass, you know. But I mean, it's so boring to look at, right? Because you look at this, it's like, oh, okay, they're just whatever. Like the Valkyrie looks like crap, comparatively. Like on a technical level, ow. On a technical level, it looks just fine, right? It's like, oh, okay, this is like 4K, you know, RTX on type shit. It's fine. God, what's up with this dude's face? All these people with the teeth, go away. So this is like somebody actually doing the comparison for me. Thank God. Thank you, Dove, for putting this together. This proves my point a lot better. So this is the new one, right? But you can tell they kind of half-assed it. So you got like the Arbiter. It's cool looking, right? In a technical sense, but it almost feels like it just doesn't work as a visual, you know? So this is like the new Artanis. Again, the problem is you're seeing way too much detail. You're seeing way too many little ripples and wrinkles and things. It just doesn't vibe. It doesn't. I mean, look at this. Like, you would not have had these dots back in the day. These were not a thing. You wouldn't have all these little veins that you could see. They wouldn't, like, they couldn't do that. So they didn't do that back in the day. So you could see what StarCraft 2 is up to, right? Then if you go back in time, right? So let's see, is it actually a back in time comparison? Or is it, I don't know. You see, like, that's the siege tank guy. Again, it feels very kind of Uncanny Valley because they just sort of half-assed it and they didn't make a full super 3D thing. They made a thing that's has enough fidelity to look okay, but doesn't actually look okay. I don't get it. I don't know what they were going for. So you had like this was an okay upgrade. You had like Wings of Liberty, StarCraft 2, the android gets an upgrade. So there's this android commander of the base. Like you're the commander, but the bases are controlled. The Terran bases are controlled by these like talking head android chicks. And so they gave her a new visual in StarCraft 2. That's okay. But it's when you go back and change it because it used to look like this. Notice how the tubes are much more pronounced in the original, right? If you look at the original, much more pronounced tubes. I mean, here, let's... What the fuck? Why can't I zoom in further? Okay, there we go. Just wasn't in for some reason. But you can see there's more tubes here, right? There's this nice little mic that goes down and around, right? It's almost a microphone for the face. You got this little blinking dot. It would blink constantly on the side of her head. But then, if you go to this one, it's weird looking, right? There's something wrong. Your brain, you don't know what, but there's something wrong. It's the fact that there's no implication of a television ear. This no longer goes from where her ear would be to where her mouth would be. It's a microphone kept out of the way. She has fucking red lipstick now for some reason. Why? The eyes are, yeah, still black and soulless, but here you couldn't see into it because of the way the light rendered. It made it feel even more soulless. The like, I don't think they fully understood the tubes coming out of the head were meant to feel like her hair that went back and connected her to the rest of the place, you know? It's one of those things where I almost want to accuse them of using, like, I don't know exactly when they did the StarCraft remaster, but it almost feels like they just threw it through an AI generator of some sort. And that's not to discredit the work of anybody that made the new thing. It's fine. It's just it doesn't have a vibe. Like here's the ghost, right? So like StarCraft, portrait ghost. So the new ghost, again, too much fucking detail, right? You can see. You can see every little carbon fiber hexagon. There's light in the background, whatever. He goes invisible. But this guy, he's bathed in shadow. That's so cool, right? I don't know. I enough yapping about the portraits, but yeah, that's the thing. Is the vulture guys. That's the funny thing is to go back to what we were talking about. Since it was supposed to be Warhammer, you could easily tell that the vulture guys were supposed to be the White Scars with the Primarch Jagatai Khan, who are the Mongols that fucking ride around on motorcycles. You could just tell that's what they were gonna go for, but then they had to scrap that idea. But yeah, they have you'll see the biker gang thing. He parodies them. Carbot parodies the designs a lot. He simplifies them for the sake of animation. But the Zergling tried to cover something dirt to hide. He's like, because that's the thing, they could burrow as well to protect themselves. That was a real thing. Yeah. There's this fucking guy. That's a thing the Zerg could do, by the way. I think the Zerg could infest things, and then later on they gain the ability to also mind control. But the Protoss specifically, they had literal mind control, and so they could steal probes, right? So a tactic with the Protoss is you could actually steal probes from the Zerg and from the Terran, so you could be playing the Protoss, the Zerg, and the Terran all at the same time, right? If you were a Protoss player, that's a legitimate strategy you could do is, you know, because the Terran were the only ones that were nuke capable. The nuke comes in and fucks up half your base immediately, right? Okay, what's with my headset? My headset's on the fritz right now. Yeah. So there's these little guys that would dig in and they would steal it. So this is why I say he mixes a lot of StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2, because in the original StarCraft, this was not a thing, right? You just had a command base, and there was nothing you had on it. It was just maybe you'd build a little radar dish or a nuclear facility off the side of it. But this is something exclusive to StarCraft 2. This unit is a thing in StarCraft 2 where you could put a Top Gun on it, and it could protect itself. And it's base, you know, with a little turret. That's just a thing it could do. Aw, he blowed up his little buddy. He's so sad. I love it. It's so funny. He just skitters away. The fucking music coming back in. The knocking. So good. Oh man. Okay, hang on, let me check the audio real quick. Just make sure it hasn't cut out completely and been weird. You know, with a little turret. That's just a thing it could do. Yep, okay. Moving on. So they're like bullying him, they're hawking a losing his face. Yeah, so this is a guy from StarCraft 2. This is the... Oh, what do they call that guy? I don't know. The, I did not play as much StarCraft 2 as I did StarCraft 1. Yeah. Also, Blizzard can eat it. Fuck you, you're a terrible company. Just, that's the obligatory fuck Blizzard moment that you have to have whenever you talk about their products, because, like, they're just shit. It's just that nobody noticed they were shit until Overwatch, and they were like, oh, so you're a shit company. Yeah, shit company. Fuck you guys. They really need to just sell. Jesus Christ. I don't know if you guys could hear that in the mic, but... The fucking... Okay, thunderstorm coming, Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, fucking run. It's trying to run away. It's like hanging off the ledge. I love that shit. Yeah, Protoss, from what I understand in StarCraft 2, Protoss were the bullies, though. Because in StarCraft 1, the Zerg were, like, the thing to do. Zerg Rush was a big tactic, so a lot of people would end up playing Zerg. But, I mean, you could play each faction. Each faction was technically viable. It just depended on what level the pro scene you were at is, you know, what kind of gameplay you would have to get up to in order to win. But the Protoss in StarCraft 2, they or sort of, because the narrative moved on, right? So the Protoss are now in a better position to deal with the Zerg and stuff, and so the Protoss became stronger from the Brood War. They found a better way of doing like technology and stuff, and they made better weapons, and so they have better units. You know, everybody kind of get better units, but that's the whole thing. You could also control twice as many units. In the original StarCraft, you could only control 12 units, and then in StarCraft 2, you could control up to 24 units. Well, 24 single units. You could control, there's singular units, so like, not every unit is worth 1 unit point to control. So, like, some of them, it would be this kind of Tetris game. Just, it fitted in the inventory thing of like, if you wanted to control, you know, say 12 units in the original StarCraft, and each of them were like a Marine, they would have a profile of 1 unit, right? So you could control 12 at a time. But if you wanted to do that in a tank had a profile of like 2 by 2. So you could only control, you know, that. That's why I like the Goliaths, because the Goliaths had anti-air missiles, they had machine guns and whatever. They were really great. And they would only come up as a 1 by 2 unit. So you could actually squeeze in like 8 of these things. You know, 6 or 8 of them, something like that. I like the Brood Mother unit in Carbot's animations, just the perpetually happy face. Because the Zerg always look so mean and menacing, but he always has them smiling half the time. It's great. They're always so happy. But then they get really sad when you shoot at them. It's like, oh, no! So yeah, that's like supposed to be I believe the Brood Mother is that unit. That's why she's going around putting all the little balls on the hive to grow more Zerg babies. Yeah, all that, you had to wait for the anti-air thing to get made. And it never did. Yeah. The Zerg in the kiddie pool. I love it. Yeah, little Zergling in the kiddie pool. So that's Zergling. The other one, the big fucking forehead guy there you see, that's supposed to be a Hydralisk. All those blackouts you see, by the way, that's going between the different videos in the compilation. Yeah, that's the thing. I believe these were some sort of bonus pylon, so you'd like put a unit next to it and it would give you bonus vision or something. That's why he tied him to that. Again, if there's anything StarCraft 2 related, I wouldn't really know. So, yeah, I don't know. Fucking mine slowly falling behind him. That's really creative. I love that shot, by the way. The, okay, wait, actually, hold on. This little splat over here is great. He gets inked, and so he just smacks him in the rock because he can't see. But that shot is gorgeous, where he just... Let's look at the economy of this shot. It's a beautiful shot. Like, he comes down, right? He comes down, and all he does is a simple rotation on the head. So he's already drawn the head from that angle. All he has to do is change the eyes, really, and then just stick it into the ground. As an animator, that's just so clean. Because it just sells it. It sells it for a laugh. His head sticks in the ground, you know? Good. He just turns it off and fucks him up. So here they're playing with the stim packs. That's an ability that your Marines could unlock through the upgrade tree. In a match, you'd get like the Science Academy and stuff, and they would upgrade. Yeah. This thing, I have no fucking idea what this thing is. Again, a lot of this is mixing like what I know of StarCraft with StarCraft 2. Brood War. When we get to the Brood War season, that's when I'll be able to be like, oh, that thing, this thing. I know that. I know this. You know? A lot of these are more modern, like, because at the time, StarCraft 2 was the thing. And because StarCraft was in the 90s. It took like 15 years for them to make another StarCraft game. And it's going to take another 500 years at this rate for Blizzard to actually give up the StarCraft license and let, I don't know, actual fans of the series make a real product for it instead of, you know, it's so dumb. It's like, dude, just give somebody else the IP if you're not going to do anything with it. You're just being an ass. you could just say, hey, we own StarCraft and StarCraft 2 and whatever and like all that. If you want to make a new StarCraft thing, go ahead. Just don't use like, you know, our original characters. Like you have to come up with a new campaign yourself. You have to come up with new characters, new units and things. That have to be like either highly modified versions of what we created, or have to be a completely unique call sign designation, whatever. And I know that's a little like saying we have StarCraft at home, but I'd rather have StarCraft at home than nothing. You know. So we'll see. We'll see. The RTS zone is always hard. Out of all the game genres, I think FPS right now is getting hit the most with the like unfortunate stick. FPS used to be big, and now, I mean, it still makes money, but it's like, it's not fun anymore. Like, a lot of games suck, but specifically the FPS genre is just kind of just cheeks right now. Not particularly fun. There's not a lot going for it like it used to be. There used to be this thing with COD and Battlefield back and forth. The two communities would kind of in a fun way, in a joking way. Like, there's some guys who would get really heated about it, but it's, like, it was around the same time as the console wars, so now everything's sort of homogenous. There's, Call of Duty sucks, Battlefield sucks, the consoles suck, so it's like, everybody agrees, everybody is now on the same side, which is, fuck corporate, you guys made this suck. Why does it suck? We want it to be fun, you know? This is basically the strat, by the way, for StarCraft, is marine dumping. You just shit ton of fucking Marines everywhere. Because they just, I love their guns, the way their guns sound when they fire, just it's so good. And the reason they wear those spacesuits, by the way, they don't actually need them. Like, they need them because they're in space. But the spacesuits aren't designed to accommodate their life support and all that. The spacesuits are designed to allow them to fire their weapons with increased accuracy. Because a normal person could fire a Space Marine's weapon. Or when I say Space Marine, I mean a Starcraft Marine. So they could fire a Starcraft Marine's rifle. They would be able to do it. It's just that the fucking thing fires such high velocity shots that it would kick into the sky and you wouldn't be able to recenter it. You might break your shoulder, you know. Like, it'd be possible, it just wouldn't be very viable. So they created the whole system, right? It's designed for you to, like, cradle it in stock and everything. It is specifically for you to actually shoot the rifle. Those are cool. I do know about those from StarCraft 2. Those are, like, little bomb dudes, and they're great because they can just roll up on your shit, explode acid, which has, like, armor penetration. So if you don't have an upgrade in your guys that increases their armor, then you're kind of fucked because it goes through the armor. Fuck, yeah. It's great. I like me some StarCraft. That's my favorite thing about StarCraft is the unique units. Not even really, like, the stories and stuff are good too. If Blizzard was smart, they would do a StarCraft show. StarCraft as, like, a space drama, dude, it would go so hard. Ideally, we can get the Warhammer show to kick off and prove to be exceedingly popular and, like, everybody watches it and loves it. I don't want it to be stupid overrated like Game of Thrones or Walking Dead, but I want it to be as big as those. Because, not even for Warhammer's sake, right? Because GW can just eat my shit, they're a terrible company. I want it to be big for the fact that it would finally prove that you can do video games as storytelling. And we would get StarCraft TV shows and stuff, you know? Yeah, this thing, Joey's like, no, peace, I'm out. He does not want the smoke. So that's an infested StarCraft Marine. Or a Terran Marine, I should say. Right? So, when I say Marine, just assume I mean these guys. So, you can tell he's infested because he's got the little teeth marks in his visor. He's got these little jaggy bits. It's supposed to be like a sharp mouth. But as you can see, we're still early on in the art style. It's not completely, you know, on a technical level drawn to a good specification yet. So yeah, these guys could look like Marines and kind of wander into your base. So if you might think, oh, okay, I need to know what my units are. Well, if you're doing, like, you know, whatever APM a minute, you know, action per minute, right? If your APM is high and you're doing a bunch of shit and looking at, like, 2 different bases and you have a bunch of Marines on the move everywhere, you might very well forget what Marines assigned where. And this guy might just walk along with your guys and just, like, steal your shit. He might infiltrate, spy on your shit, steal your shit. Also love the Reaper units, by the way. Of course I do. But the Reapers are a StarCraft 2 unit. They're a very interesting unit because they actually solve a problem that was a map design flaw in the first StarCraft. So a lot of the first StarCraft boiled down to air superiority simply because the ground, wherever you would build your bases, you could make these choke points that are basically impenetrable, and that's why Zerg rushing became a thing, was you get as many weak Zerg units as you can as fast as possible, so you could run to the other bases before they had their choke points set up, right? In StarCraft 2, they said, okay, let's take a little different approach to the combat. So everybody kind of had this thing that mitigates terrain. For the Terran, their unit that mitigated terrain and made it sort of, you know, like, oh, I have a wall here. I don't need any defense against this wall because they can't shoot high enough or whatever. No. The Reaper could zoom in with the jetpack so he could speed in with it and then also go up walls and shit. So he could go up cliffs and get into your backline and he wouldn't even be there. Even if he died, he wouldn't need to be there for long. He could go in, assassinate key units, destroy key buildings in the back where you don't have any of your defenses set up. Oh, here comes the classic. So here you're getting sort of the Terran squad. It becomes a thing. So you have Patches and Crackhead, the Reaper, the big guy, whatever, the Ghost, right? So that's the Ghost there. He's the guy that, like, nuclear launch detected. He's the guy that plants the nuke. The Ghost was the original Reaper. He was the guy. So the Reaper is sort of an action variant of the Ghost. He's supposed to be the new edgelord, essentially. But this is the classic StarCraft theme, by the way. This is the music that everybody talks about when they talk about StarCraft. No. It's got this great spacey vibe when you're just building on some alien planet. You're putting up defenses. There's shit going down. It's great. Again, an FPS game with StarCraft. Like, a Space Marine 2 style multiplayer, but with StarCraft units would be tight as fuck, right? It'd be so good. Or even like a Deadlock. I hope Deadlock is successful so that we get more third-person MOBAs that are like shooter-based. Shooter, like hero shooter meets MOBA type of setup. Because it would work so well for StarCraft. As long as they don't do like a Heroes of the Storm where they completely fuck up the entire character balance and the entire design philosophy is sideways. That game was brutal, by the way. Other MOBAs, you might screw up here or there. In Heroes of the Storm, if you screwed up, if anybody on any one of your lanes screwed up even a little bit, they didn't even have to screw up. They could just play a little below average. If they were even just playing average, sometimes you would just get bodied. Like, you had to be on the point. It was ultra competitive. It's like, cheat. Feel the thunder. So that's Thor. Thor is another unit from StarCraft 2. He's a big... When I say a big mech, I mean he's as big as a building, right? He's a big fucking mech. And why? Because he has to fight that thing. That's why he's so big. He was designed to fight the Ultralisk, right? So the Ultralisk is the big mammoth-looking thing. It's got the tusks, you know? There you go. Yeah, so there's Patches. So you can see Carbot starting to put that particular Marine. He's like, hey, what if I make it this guy is the main guy, you know? So Crackhead hasn't gotten his crack yet. But, you know, we'll get there. So yeah, this is a parody of the balance, right? Where Thor gets bodied by the Ultralisk, but this thing bodies both of them like it's nothing, you know? This would be the... yeah. That's funny. The Siege Tank, an absolute legendary unit, by the way. I love the Siege Tanks, I love the Goliaths, all the mechanized stuff Terrans did, I love it. But the Protoss, I love the Protoss because of their, what do you call it? The turret. They have like a ground turret. You can attack both the air and the ground, and you could just build rows of these things. It was so good. Shit got teleported. So this, I believe, is something from StarCraft 2 as well. This, like, big Citadel ship in the sky. That's a new unit.
Best friend. Starcraft Season 1 is brought to you by Raycon. Raycon provides innovative headphone designs at prices that don't break the bank. I normally don't like earbuds, but these things are nice, stylish, small, and they actually stay in my ear. I really like how you...
Least we can do is watch the sponsor from, like,
this thing's got 6 hours
5 years ago.
The case itself is a charger.
Something like that. I don't know.
Of
I don't know if this is part of the original or if this is part of the compilation from like 5 years ago. Feels like 5 years ago because Raycon, I don't remember being a thing years ago. This is Raycon was like, yeah. So yeah, Jonathan Burton is Carbot. When I refer to Carbot, I mean Jonathan Burton. Okay. Season 2. So that was Season 1. Season 2 is going to be...
It's your best friend. It's Carbot. Starcraft Season 2 is sponsored by SC2ReplayStats.com.
Yeah. So this is back when Starcraft 2 was actually fucking relevant. Unfortunately, Blizzard has just left it to die. So you can't even really play Starcraft or Starcraft 2 now. You can still play it, like enjoy the narrative and stuff, but the multiplayer and the balance and everything is just so in the air.
Starcraft Season 2.
Yeah. Like I said, if they wanted to revive Starcraft as a hero shooter or something, that would go kind of hard. Not as like an Overwatch style hero shooter, but like a third-person shooter. Something to even compete with Gears, because Gears is coming back. Gears of War is coming back with E-Day, right? It's nostalgia bait, but you know, Gears is coming back. They're still in there. They're still making Gears games every now and then. But that would be something to compete with Gears on. Would be, hey, we can make a third-person cover shooter too. You know, we can make our units. We can make our thing. You know, or even Helldivers. Take a bait and be like, yo, people like Helldivers. Why don't we just do Helldivers but Starcraft version? You know. So this is... What fucking planet is this? It's not Char. It's... Hold on. Starcraft. There is a world called Char, but it's not Char, right? I know it's not Char. Ah, see? This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is why AI is trash. I knew it wasn't Char. This thing just... It's not even like real AI. Right? It doesn't even take into account what I said. I didn't say, you know, the lava planet or whatever. Like, notice how the first results are Abaddon and Scoria. Those are from the fan-made, fan-moderated wikis. Right? Char is not the thing. If I said the burnt planet, Char would be the correct one. The reason they call it Char, by the way, is it was a planet that was all ashy and fucked up. Right? But no, that's not the one that this one is referencing. This is not Char. This is either Scoria or Abaddon. I believe it's supposed to be Scoria. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's either Scoria or Abaddon. Anyway, one of those. But no, Char. So, Char, there's a reason it's Char. It was basically... It's a fucked up planet. It's shitty. The Zerg go there. There's this... It's this whole thing made of lava and ash, basically. So yeah, you could technically say, oh, the AI did its job. It told you the lava planet, but that's not what I meant when I said lava planet. It didn't do its job. It did the opposite of its job. I knew I wasn't looking for Char, or else I would have typed Char, because Char is so fucking infamous in the StarCraft lore. Like, everybody knows Char. So it could be Char, it could be Scar. It's generically a lava planet. Lava planets are considered, like, the coolest thing, you know, for StarCraft stuff. Yeah, this one's... I believe the thing here is that, yeah. And this is how I know it's not Char, is that Char never had a mechanic whereby the lava would rise and consume. That's the ongoing theme happening in the background for StarCraft 2, or StarCraft Season 2, is that the lava is like going to slowly engulf the whole map on this planet. So it must be Scoria or Abaddon. So you can see in Season 2, his lines are a lot cleaner, his shapes are a lot more defined. So Carbot's just really starting to nail his style now. And you can see a little bit of detail being added to Zerglings and stuff. He's more confident in his animations. You have to see it. You got the fucking bro over here fighting with the Zerg. Like, hey, fuck you. Just punches him in the face. They just do this little cute tussle where they just roll over. I love it. Just hits him in the face with it. Like, yeah, put it back. It just falls off again. I like the Zergling's little tiny legs. Like as if he's pushing himself with the little legs. Don't let this fool you, by the way. These are just Carbot style to make things really cute, just because he can. The actual Zerglings, no, they are fucking gnarly looking. Also, morbid fact about these guys, by the way. This is called an SCV. The SCVs are something civilian vehicle, scientific civilian vehicle or something. So the fun fact that is an unfun fact for the guys in the SUVs. Also, look at how fucking baller it looked back in the day. So this is like your StarCraft 2 SUV. It actually has legs. This one, it just looked more like it hovered, you know? But it had like these weird bent back chicken leg things. But it looks chunky and cool here. Here it's just like, oh, okay. It's a guy in a mining suit. Okay. But here it's like, yeah, big dude. You know? Yeah. So the thing about SCVs is they could be workers in suits, or sometimes they could be prisoners. They could be like political prisoners and shit that are forced to work as engineers for the, you know, army effort. They could be conscripts. So yeah, not always so great. There's even a thing like with the units, if you click on them a bunch, you get a bunch of different lines. If you did it with the SCVs, if you clicked on them enough, there'd be one line that would pop up eventually. He would say, you know, somebody get me out of here, you know? I'm not supposed to be here, type of thing. Like, yeah. Get the Protoss throwing cheese at him. No! You lost them. So those are the turrets, by the way. Those are the turrets that can attack ground or air. That's one reason I absolutely love playing as the Protoss. Because you just need to put up, like, a power pylon, and you can surround the power pylon with, like, 20 of those things. And you can have an insane defense. Fear the Reaper. They're so edgy, I love it. Yeah, so this is the thing. They would just go in with, you know, just dual heavy magnums, grenades, whatever. They come in and just fuck shit up. I believe one of their phrases is actually Geronimo. Geronimo, I think, is just when they get really intense and they start going after something. They're getting bodied.
It's on now.
Yeah, so he's got a little grenade he's gonna throw at him. Yeah, the fucking dud. You just get this shit whopped. He's like, whap, fuck you. Starts beating him down. So this is also a parody in a way because they would have a recharge on the jetpacks, so you could use them as an aggressive unit, but you would have to micromanage the crap out of them, and you basically have to go in and then get back out and then go back in, and yeah, you get a little boo boo. It's okay. Yeah, he got his shit rocked. So you can see up there, that's him going up the cliff and trying to get past that shit. And then there's this annoying fucking Protoss asshole who keeps putting up a bubble that he can't get past. Yeah. So the Protoss had stasis fields. That was their big thing in the, was it stasis fields? Hold on. I'm thinking. In StarCraft 1, one of the big things for this Terran, one of the reasons the Ghost was actually good, the Ghosts and then the Science Vessels, they could actually do a move called a lockdown, where they could put you in a stasis field and your unit wouldn't be able to move for however long the stasis field lasts. And it was actually, I think, unbalanced to where if you upgraded the, you know, the stasis field energy cost and everything, you could essentially stasis lock something indefinitely because the ability would go on cooldown and would be ready to go by the time the stasis field wore off. So you could just keep putting it back in. It's just riding around on the SCVs shooting things. I love it. It's maybe a joke about like a StarCraft 2 bug or something where you could put the guys on. Or maybe it's a feature, I don't know. Like I said, StarCraft 2 stuff I don't know much of. Some stuff I do know, a lot of it I don't know. So they're like just breaking all their shit. Because they have no power. That's why they destroyed that crystal. That's a power pylon for the Protoss. They would, they need that or none of their shit functions. Their buildings won't turn on. Their units have their own power sources. They move on their own, but their buildings just don't work. So their buildings are super powerful, but you must construct additional pylons, as the narrator constantly yells at you.
Systems engaged.
Yeah, fucking run, dudes. Run. They're all trying to bail out. They're getting bodied. Absolutely sniped. Like, it even takes out him. I love it. So some of these things are obvious parodies. Like, oh, that must be a joke about something that was a problem in the game. Oh, That was a mine they stepped over, by the way. That was a mine that buried itself earlier. The Zerg is in the base. I love the barracks building being held up by 2 little bricks on the corner. Some duct tape. Oh, that's good. I like it. And wait for it. Okay, wait. Smush him. So he doesn't want to put it down because it would smush him. You better smush him. Wait for it. Smoosh. I like the mines. They have a great design. Like the little legs that taper up into this bigger, like, eye stalk. Pretty good. Yeah, those are reusable mines. In the first StarCraft, you'd have the vultures. They would lay down, the vultures and the Goliaths and stuff, they would lay down mines, but they would be single use. Oh, here's the mine. Boom, it's gone. These are like mine turrets that are constantly throwing out rockets. Like that. They do that. Again, I think the units are my favorite part. The designs of RTS units, not necessarily the RTS gameplay themselves. Which is what makes me sad about StarCraft. Like I said, if you give me it in an FPS, an FPS, a hero shooter, a card game, give it to me in any other format and I'd love to appreciate it. Like League of Legends. Great example. I fucking do not like League of Legends, right? I'm not big on MOBAs anymore. I played a ton of them. I played a ton of Dota 2 for like a year or so, or whatever. I racked up like 700 hours, something like that. And then, you know, that was when I was younger, and I was really into it. And it's like, I'm like too old to get back into MOBAs. They're too complicated now. They're just, why? You know, you look at them like, ugh, too much to worry about, too much work. That's why I like Smite. Smite's pretty chill as a MOBA. It's third person, but also MOBA, so it's like you get kind of a more casual feel than clicking, moving, looking around the map. Whereas, yeah, Dota 2 and League of Legends, they're more RTS MOBA, whereas the Smite stuff, Smite or Paladins, even Paladins, I actually consider that more of a MOBA than a hero shooter because of the way you build using the card system. I think that has more of an effect, and I think it's more like a hero shooter MOBA than a MOBA hero than a hero shooter. You know, there's a bit of MOBA in there, and I like that. And I think a lot more games need card systems, need card loadouts, and ways to customize and play different. You know. Because at least then, you know what the meta is, right? You could pin down the meta and say it's this one thing that's being paired with this other thing that's causing the problem. And it might be a little hard to balance, but at least then you're not just like, oh, it's okay if this one gun's OP because everyone will just use it. It's like, what? No, fuck you. I don't want to use your overpowered gun. Yeah, Paladins. That's why I'm looking forward to Deadlock. Deadlock looks a lot like Paladins. It's got that hero shooter, but technically it's a MOBA type of thing. It's got this, I don't know, the gameplay is hero shooter, but the design is as a MOBA, you know. You're meant to think of it in a strategic way, not just, oh, hey, it's fine. But yeah, no, it just, that's what it is. But League of Legends, right? So, I don't really like League of Legends, but I love the art. Like, the artists on League of Legends go hard as fuck. As with any good game, the artists are the ones that really hold it up, because no art, no game. You can't really have a game without art, unless you want to go back to the Zork days of text-based adventures. This was something in Starcraft too, by the way. This is like a new unit, right? That was sort of the new type of vulture. So the vulture used to be the harasser unit. This is the new harasser unit. You just drop in and burn it out. Yeah. But he's slow as fuck, as you can see. Anyway. But the League of Legends, they went ahead and said, oh, well, let's do other things. So they're doing a fighting game. They did Legends of Runeterra, right? Which is a card game, right? In the vein of like a Hearthstone-ish type of game. Kind of centered around more Hearthstone than Magic the Gathering. But it's cool. It's like, oh, cool. I can appreciate all the art and enjoy the characters, and I don't have to play a freaking MOBA to do it, you know? That's why I said, ooh, excuse me. That's why I said StarCraft. You know, they already do, yeah. How pleasing it must be for you as he just gets burned out. I love it. The Broodmother is such a fun character, because she just loves her little Zergling babies. They're great. Well, those aren't Zerglings, those are probes, but yeah. Love all the little Zerg babies.
Man, am I just being...
So yeah, now you're getting... This is starting to get more into the group dynamic of you know, instead of just, hey, here's some units, these are more becoming like a named unit type of thing. They feel like, you know, more dudes. They're all hanging out. Yeah, that guy got yeeted. So that's why I say Patches and Crackhead are the only ones that are, like, named characters. They're the only ones that kind of survive through the series. They do their thing. And then whenever a ghost or whatever gets killed off, it's implied that another one shows up and just, he's that guy now, you know? Yeah. A little hard keeping up with the lore, but, you know. Like, here he's like, oh no, everybody's dead. Come on, friend, we gotta go home. Except, wait for it. Oh, infected Marine. He's a sneaky Marine. He's an infiltrator. I like it. So this is like a radar scan that the Terran can do. They can scan areas to clear the fog of war and see what's going on. Ah, the Templars. So the Dark Templars. These guys are pretty dope. From the shadows. I fucking love these guys. They, yeah. Because he sees all the shit that's stacked up at the Terran base. He's like, nah, I'm gonna go harass the Zerg who have, like, nothing that can stop me. I strike from the shadows. They're very cool. You would merge, I believe it was two... I think it was a Zealot and a Dark Templar, or two Dark Templars. No, you would merge a Zealot with a Dark Templar, and that would produce an Archon, right? Which is like the big blue ball guy, like power overwhelming, that guy. I fucking love that. One of my favorite units. The Protoss have a lot of great units. They have a lot of great designs for their units. And then, yeah, so he's mutating into a different unit. That's what he's doing. See, so he does that. So that he can be the upgraded version. He can be like, he's over there! Get his ass! He's snitching. But you would take the Dark Templar, mix it with another Dark Templar, or like a Master Templar or whatever. There was like another version. There was the Zealot and the Dark Templar mixed, and then there was like the Dark Templar and something else mixed, and those two together would be like a Dark Archon. So he was a red version of the Archon. So you have the Archon is like power overwhelming, but you have the red one, right? So the red one had a different power set, right? I believe the blue one would do mind control, but the red one would do psychic damage. So you would get more of a damage base.
World of innocence, a world of lush forests and clear rivers. I really just want to nuke the crap out of it.
I want to nuke the crap out of it. Love the ghost, man. He's just so fucking funny. Oh, this bit. I love this bit where he just goes invisible to get past him. Or like throws a rock at him. Yeah, because I can't remember if he turns invisible when he does, or I think he just throws the rock to fuck him up. But he hits him in the head with the rock. The Zealot's mad because he's just got it. The poor Zealot, man. Through the entirety of Starcrafts, he just gets picked on. He's the punching bag. He's the angry boy. He just stabs things. You know, because that's what the Zealots do. They just stab shit. Yeah. So the ghost comes in. He's invisible. He launches the nuke. He's still invisible. You can't, you know, see him. It's like, oh, fuck. Nukes are coming. And I think even if you kill the ghost, if you manage to kill the ghost, I think the launch still goes off because he's, like, late. He's painting the target. I don't know what the consequence is of that, but yeah. Here comes the nuke. The poor little Zerg doesn't understand. He just gets bombed. Let's look that up, actually, because I'm curious. Starcraft. Can nukes be interrupted? Because I am curious about that. Nuclear strikes, offensive weapon. Okay, it requires the ghost to stand still without being interrupted for 14.5 seconds. So you do interrupt it. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing is you get the red dot, and the red dot tells you like, oh, you're getting this is where the nuke hits. This is the center, and then you basically have to play a game of hide and seek, which is the ghost is invisible. You have to go find him. He's cloaked, but the thing is you can't just use the cloak the entire time. You have to like yeah, it's... You can't just cloak at all times. It takes energy. So the ghost basically has to cloak to sneak into the back of the base, remain cloaked, nuke it, and the cloak has to last long enough. That's why I don't see nukes getting dropped early game, because you need the research. You have to go build an academy and science station and do the research to make cloaks last longer if you want your nukes to be able to actually go off. Because without a thing that sees something... Yeah, oh, here it comes. Wait. Oh! Say the line, Bart! Power overwhelming. I fucking love it. Yeah, there's no captions on this, unfortunately. so the ghost just kind of like DT'd him. You just hit him with a damage threshold. The armor piercer just told him to fuck off. Yeah, those are the mutalisks. Another favorite of my units. The mutalisks are just the noises they make, and the little flappy bat wings are just very cool. I like it. Yeah. So now you can see why multi-level terrain and stuff is kind of impeding to the gameplay. You're like, god damn it. Every time he gets there, he's just like, ah, I'm late, fuck. Oh no! They lost their thing. He's like, no, give him back! Leave Timmy alone! the mutalist came by and just snatched him up. He stole him. Dick move. Yeah. But of course, for the mutalists, it's all fun and games until they run into somebody who's anti-air. Yeah, so they're over here just bullying all the probes. Because in Starcraft, your units are directly tied to your resource. So you always need more crystals. You always need more Vespene gas, right? You always need those two things. And then once you get those, okay, cool, you have the means. Now you need to construct more storage units. So for the Terrans, it's the supply depots. For the Protoss, you must construct additional pylons. So they actually don't have... So the unit limit is tied to that, and yeah. So that's why the strategy would be to run into somebody's base, and you don't even have to destroy...
To crush the Zerg, see that driven before you, and hear the lamentations
of the Protoss. Yes, it's a Arnold Schwarzenegger joke. Yes, it's a reference to Conan the Barbarian. And yes, that line is actually in the game. And that thing actually talks like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Quiet. I'm trying to
Sneak up on them! Like, all the voice acting you hear, they are not original voice lines. They are lines from the game. It's great. Oh, gosh, fucks him up entirely.
Hammer of the gods!
Hammer of the gods! I think he whips it, right? Yeah.
Yes.
No, he gets that one, but there's one later where he just completely whips it and fails to kill the unit. Not sure. But this is the thing. He was so big, and the SCVs, they could repair tanks and that stuff. So the idea used to be, like in StarCraft 2, you would take the Thor. That was the strategy. You take the Thor, and you would have it followed by a bunch of SCVs that were just there to repair it. They were set just to follow him and repair him. Yeah. He's gone. Oh, he's back. Get fucked. Oh, what's this? Ooh, there's a plot afoot. You know, episode 14. Oh, the Death Ball. Yeah, so in the first StarCraft, you had the Zerg rush, right? You're getting Zerged with too many of them. Well, in the Protoss, yeah, the Protoss for StarCraft 2, they had a thing called the Death Ball, where it was just a mass of high-powered units, and they would steamroll your shit. They would roll right over you, a la Death Ball. So this is a more literal idea of that, but yeah, essentially you would take these kinds of units and just absolutely body the fuck out of dudes. It would just work. Also, you may have noticed in one of the previous scenes when the Archon showed up, right? The power overwhelming, you exploded the energy wave. You'll notice one of the Marines got his visor broken. It also said 9,000. It was like over 9,000 power level. Nice reference. But that Marine got his visor broken. So that's Crackhead. That's the origin of Crackhead right there. I love it. I love all the little touches, man. You gotta you can really watch and appreciate it. That's what I love about indie animation over. Like, that's not to say corporate animation is a problem. Like, studio animation is fine, but indie animation has these nice little touches to it that are just pure passion. You know, they do it because they want to do it, not because, oh, this is projected to be a good movie. You know, whatever. Like the Pixar stuff, it's so. It's not that they're bad stories. It's just mostly blasé. You know, the animators do a fantastic job. It's just there's not a lot in it that feels like it has life. You know? And that's why animation back in the Cell days, right, of Disney feels a lot better, because you had to sweat for every single line. You had to have pre-production. You had to know exactly where you were going, exactly what you were drawing, exactly what you were doing. You know, and there, again, there's nothing wrong with the 3D stuff. I think Across the Spider-Verse has been very good. I think that's fantastic for the animation world. We need a lot more Spider-Verses and a lot less Encantos, you know. And again, nothing wrong with Encanto. It's just that it doesn't feel passionate. It just feels like it's cheap, emotional, you know, like stuff. Like, oh, feel sad for this person because they're sad. It's like, okay, but am I attached to this character? That's why later on, you'll see, you know, Patches and Crackhead are hanging out, and their whole thing, they have a whole emotional arc, you know. It makes you actually feel bad for some of these characters. Like this little dude right here. I was like, I've known him for 4 seconds, but I'm like, oh no, he's gonna die. That's okay. So this is something in Starcraft 2. The Overlords, the big floaty guys there, those are Overlords, and they could, like, in the first game, they were basically just carriers. They would pick dudes up and drop them off places, and they would also reveal invisible enemies nearby, and they were also the thing that would increase, like, you had to have a certain amount of overlords to increase your unit limit, right? So the unit limit was tied to those units, right? Because everything the Zerg do is biological. They don't, even their buildings are made of biological shit, so they don't really build biological buildings to increase their numbers. They increase their numbers by increasing their numbers, literally. Yeah. So there's these little fucking dudes. I guess these were some kind of a menace in StarCraft 2, I don't know. But that was in the original StarCraft. So then StarCraft 2, the Overlords got the ability to spread the creep. The Zerg don't function without the creep. They need... That's why everywhere you see the Zerg is that purple floor. The purple ground is the creep. They can't build buildings on anything that's not creep. And they also move way faster on the creep, which is why they want to always spread the creep. They want the creep spreading into your lands. How do you spread the creep? Well, the creep spreads very slowly over time up to a certain point. To spread the creep further, you build another building, and that has its own radius of creep that it spreads around it. So that's usually the way to do it. That's why StarCraft 2, they introduced the idea that the Overlords can spread creep in areas that the creep's not yet reached. Otherwise, you would have to actually put the thing... Yeah. And you would say, oh, well, how do they build anything then? The drones can act as, like, they can build hatcheries. And their hatcheries are how they get all of their units. Right? They get every type of unit from the hatchery. Meaning, the Zergs need hatcheries, which are the main command base, like this thing over here is for the Terran. The hatcheries, the hives, whatever they're really called, that's the main unit, right? You need that. So again, it's a lot of give and take with these factions. They do their thing. He's just doing the Naruto run with his wings back. I fucking love it. Job's finished. They just fix it. Yeah. So that's something the Protoss ended up being able to do, is they were able to just pick your shit up. They just hold on to it. So the idea is you're supposed to pick it up and have the other guys attack, but all of them picked it up. Rated T for Thor. I love that line. He just, like, carves the whole thing out. Yeah. To get this big, awesome super weapon, just doesn't work on the little guys, though. It just didn't do shit. He's like, oh no, I need to run now! But he's super slow and super weak. So there's Crackhead right there. You can see he's got a little bandage. There's Patches and Crackhead. And they were going to have a third friend, but he got smushed. So, no third friend. Just Patches and Crackhead. I mean, they get other friends, but the main two Marines are Patches and Crackhead. Here comes the death ball again. I love it. Ooh, I smell food. That's good, because I'm eating. The fucking Zerg, man. Little Zergling just looking at him. Here comes the fucking Ultralisk, gonna knock him out. Nope. It does not work, he just gets pushed. The Ultralisk is like a big fucking puppy, I love it. I love the attitude that Carbot does in these animations. Everybody has this very unique feel to them. They have their own vibe. That was a thing in Starcraft 2. You could actually spawn your own infested marines. In Starcraft 1, the infested marines were limited to the Zerg would infest a command center. If you unlock that ability, you would be able to infest a command center with a probe. Like one of your little probe guys could go in there, and one of your drones, and they would like basically infest the command center. Then the command center would be able to output. I believe it was the command center that would be infested. Like, you'd infest the command center, and the command center would... Yeah. The fuck? I guess it's just a fake thing. I don't know. It must be a thing from Starcraft 2. Oh! There's the guy again. So this is where the background narrative is kind of picking up, is in Season 2. And then the following seasons are mostly about that narrative. It's happening in the background, slowly. Yeah, what do you call it? What was I saying? Yeah. Oh, there was this thing. This thing was kind of cool. I did hear about this in StarCraft 2. It's like this thing that spits out enemies. So, like, it goes underground, and then it acts as like a tunnel. It can just spit them out on the other end. So, you basically... Oh, yeah, I made all these defenses. Cool, it doesn't matter. He burrows into your base and sneaks in the back, and then he just spawns a bunch of Zerg in your shit. No, what the fuck am I talking about? I don't know, but yeah, Carbot's just everything's unique, and the infested guys, right? So the infested used to just be this suicide bomber, and you'd infest a command center, and then you could, from the command center, you could start spawning humans, and those humans would be infested humans, and so they would look like Starcraft Marines. They would look like they have their armor set, but they would be like all like there'd be a side of their head that had a big blob on it, whatever, and they would explode, right? So the idea is they would be mini nukes that you could send into enemies and just have them die and just go boom, you know? They were just straight up suicide bombers, and I find it hilarious. Yeah. Of course, this thing's stuck. He's like, oh no, not the nuke. Yeah. They're not so good for the big boy. Yeah, it just eats him. Yeah. This thing, I don't know. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Obviously a unit from StarCraft 2, because I have no idea what this unit is. They're like, what's going on, bro?
All your base are belong to us.
All your base are belong to us. That's a classic. That's from the computer. In StarCraft 1, the computer got its syntax fucked up. And so what happened was the Zerg, it would try to like globally shit talk. It was like the AI was talking to you. And the I believe it was like, what is the actual origin so I don't get this wrong? Because it's a fun bit of all your base are belong to us. It's something that I believe happened when the yeah. All your base belong to us is an internet meme based on a poorly translated phrase from the opening cutscene of the Japanese video game Zero Wing. The phrase first appeared on the European side and, you know, whatever. So it found its way into like the American side of things. So it's let's check the meme here. Right. It's a broken English phrase that began an internet phenomenon in 2001 and 2 with the use of a flash animation, right? So there was a flash animation this thing was tied to, and then it was like, oh, haha, funny meme at the time. So the all your base are belong to us came from like, it's a weird, right? It's a whole other thing it came from, but it came into the StarCraft thing. And so the Zerg started doing that. Like, that became a thing with the Zerg, was all your base are belong to us. You know? It became a thing people started saying whenever the Zerg would just dominate the scene. So yeah, I love literal translations. Poor, like bad translations, literal translations, always so funny. He's like, no, stay over there. Don't come near us, you stupid fuck. Like, no, go away. So yeah, these things look like they kicked a little ass. They're spitting out turrets, they're spitting out mines.
To have Tourette's syndrome.
He has Tourette's syndrome. It's a good bit. Hey, they can heal him. Alright. Yay, friend. Yeah, so that was the thing. The Zerg didn't care about losing units, right? So the Zerg, if you ever wonder what their faction is, they don't care about losing units because they produce so many of them. The idea is to ramp up production of units so fast that you can lose tons and tons and tons of units and it doesn't matter. And you'll just be fine. You can recoup those losses. And then the Protoss, they really like structures, so they could hardly afford to lose units. So their units were very robust. They had shields and stuff. But if you lost some of your units, yeah, it wasn't so great for you. I love these little termite dudes. I don't know what they are, but they're just... they eat everything. It's so funny. They're just like some weird little infestation. Yeah. These guys try to go in and whoop on them, and it just doesn't work for them. Then the, those little manta ray dudes in the sky are just vibing. I love it. So the, yeah. So that's the Protoss and the Zerg. The Terran, however, they're about longevity. So they could repair their buildings. They could fix their wounds, right? You didn't really have that with the other units. The Protoss had... the idea is it's sort of a three-player chess game. The idea is that each faction counters something in the other faction. So the Terran they have a big survivability and defense skill, right? They build heavily armored fortresses, they repair those fortresses, they repair the units with stim packs, as you see here. And then the Protoss, okay, they don't want to lose units, so what do they have? They have shields and psychic energy and things. And that's a big deal for them. Fuck. I forgot that happens. Yeah. So then the Zerg, right? The Zerg take the opposite approach, and they say, well, we'll just make so many units, it won't matter. Like, you can kill 50 of my guys, and I'll make 100 more. They actually follow a similar pattern to the Sontarans in Doctor Who. In Doctor Who, there's an alien faction called the Sontarans. They're bred for war. And when I say bred, I mean literally bred. Like, they're birthed in hatchings of, like, 1 million dudes or whatever. So when they do war against a planet, they don't care about losing a couple guys. Because, one, they think they're weak. It's like, you don't want weak. So if you die, you're weak. Therefore, we want you out of the gene pool. Right? And yeah, no, it's the Zerg will hit you with a bunch of units. The Zerg hit you with units. The Protoss hit you with science. And the Terrans hit you with good old American steel. You know, is basically the idea. Alright. Yeah, they dipped. They're out of here. Dude is like, get the fuck out! I need your car, your boots, and your motorcycle. He's just chasing them. That's the Zealot, though. The Zealot for this whole series goes hard as fuck. He tries his best. Because he's a Zealot. He doesn't care. He just does it. He's like, I will do this, fuck you! I'll beat your ass! He must kill the enemy, you know? That's what the Zealot's there for. He's there to vibe. Yeah, the pew-pew button's not working. Because he can't pew-pew all that, yeah. So that's Patches. Patches, chill. Oh! He gone. Zealot doesn't care. Zealot wants Patches, man. I like how top-heavy Carbot's characters are. They're, like, mostly head, usually. Unless you build a really strong character, then it's, like, tiny head, big body. Yeah. This is what I was talking about. The lava raises up eventually. And just takes out the whole map. Yeah, he's just like, no, take me with you. like holding on to it. It's so intense. That's a great shot, by the way. The yeah, wait for it. Wait for it. Carrier has arrived. I fucking the Protoss lines, that reverb, the sound of it.
Battle cruiser operation.
Battle cruiser operation. Fucking love the aircraft. I think the aircraft are some of the best units because you get this battle cruiser and just this, yeah, carriers, battle cruisers. You got 2 fleets heading off. It's so good. The battle cruisers would charge like the Yamat gun, you know, so it would just boom, be this big laser they would charge up. Yeah, so they had the little lasers, and then they would charge the Yamat gun, and it would just be this condensed thing at the front of the ship, and it would just boom. It would be the big plasma bolt they could send at you. That thing. That's the Yamat gun. That's why you want the battle cruiser, because it can do that. Believe it. He punches him and his arm stays there. And then there's this asshole who just takes out the battle cruisers. Yeah. So they're having this nice 1v1. Meanwhile, the rest of the map is just fucked. The Carbot lore goes deep. Yeah, this thing's a psychopath, by the way. What you're looking at here, this is the main, like, antagonist going forward. Because he does that. Remember how I said the Zerg can mind control things? That becomes the main antagonist going forward. You can mind control shit. Just happens. Gotta save the babies. Everybody's gotta dip from the planet because it's all messed up. Everything's on fire. Again, the Carbot lore, it goes hard, man. Carbot's, his storytelling is so good. Because it's all visual, by the way. There's no dialogue, ever, in any of his stuff. They say lines, yeah, but everything has to be visual because it's an animation. It all has to play into that. Because he doesn't do voice acting. What's all these blinky lights? The captain's like, oh, fuck. On you. Go, Patches! Patches, like, takes the shot for him. What an absolute Chad. We love Patches. Oh no, Patches. Yay, Patches, okay. No, Patches! The zealot screaming. So he pulls it back to the future where he floats back up. Crackhead and Patches. Hell yeah. And this is actually where we meet, I believe it's Patches' girlfriend? Yeah, so Patches gets a girlfriend who's the medic girl, who she drives the medic ship. She flies the ship. Poor Zealot, he tried so hard. I still like calling him a Zealot, though. I don't know, Zealot sounds alien and fun. But he realizes, wait, I can just take out the whole ship. And he does it. What a dick. Such a dick, I love it. So that was Season 2. That should be, yep, end of Season 2. So we're going into Season 3. Ah, so there's a little bit of foreshadowing here with the guy taking the ship. Flying away. He's like, oh, this guy? Yeah. Here, buddy. Just gives him the crystal and leaves him to die. He's like, no! No way! Come back! Oh, you're gonna fry. No, poor little Zergling. So here's the foreshadowing for Season 3 and onward. This guy becomes the main, like, antagonist. He's in the background doing stuff, but he's doing stuff. You know. This is the villain now. This is the villain arc. This dude. With his silly little tongue. Again, another very economical shot where the tongue is the only thing animated, and he just has to loop that once he gets to a certain point, and the ship, nothing else really animated, just the ship moves, he moves with it, and that tongue is the only thing that actually had to be redrawn for that. But once you get past the tongue even, you don't have to worry about that, you're just zooming in on the eye. Beautiful work. Beautiful work, I'd love to see it. Starcrafts Season 3, the longest season. This is like the big villain arc season. This is the crazy one. How we doing? Oh man, we might have to break this up to 2 streams, but
Hey
that's
guys,
fine.
it's me, it's your best friend,
I got time.
Carbot. Starcraft Season
I got
3
time?
is
Yeah, I got
brought
time.
to you by the Commuter Bluetooth Speaker by
Yeah,
Carbot.
that's
This
it. I know,
thing,
I know.
You've never heard of it. Well,
They sad read. Moving on, please.
Possible, but they're
Oh.
helping fund our channel.
I don't have time for this.
Now for what you all came for, let's watch Starcraft Season 3 together.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're watching it together. So you can see his logo's getting better over the years. So again, there's nothing animated in the shot. These are simple movement left, right, you know. The only thing that moves is that tongue. Very economical, because this goes for several seconds. This is like 10 seconds of animation or something. And the best part is once you get to his eye, right? Still wiggling, boom. Now you don't even have to bother with, like, animating that part. I mean, once you have it done, it's done. It's looped. It works, but... At each season, I love that it just picks up from the previous. It just goes. Very nice. Actually, you know what? Before we get into Season 3, 1, I do need more water, and 2, I'm going to see if I can get plenty of food. So we will be right back. Stay tuned. Ugh, man. I'm telling you. It was not dinner. Dinner is about to be. But my mom made, like, brownies. That's what I was smelling, was her cooking brownies. I'm like, okay, so you made dessert, but not dinner? What the fuck? No. But, yeah. God, I can tell you, I'm definitely not down to do any more first shifts at work. That morning shift shit. Because you do it in the morning, you wake up, you go to work, you do your thing, I stand there for 8 hours doing my gas station clerk thing, and then the rest of the day I have to feel my knees, you know? Whereas if you sleep, kind of sleeping off that thing, you just go, bed, you know? If you get home and you're tired, you're like, yay, sleep, you know? Whereas today I'm just awake, you know? Even if I didn't stay up, like I'm gonna, like I'm going to like, adjust to the new 2 to 10 vibe, you know? Because I don't need to get up early. Like, not super early. I still want to wake up in the morning, obviously, but, yeah. The, yeah, even if I went to bed early, I'd only be going to bed, I'd start going to bed at, like, 7, right? Shutting down, and then 8, I'd be, like, actually turned over in bed trying to go to sleep, and asleep by 9, you know? That's if I was gonna wake up in the morning. But even then, it's like, you do that, you get to, yeah. This was my childhood right here, by the way. This just... Yeah. The fucking Vespine gas. Oh my god, it was so touchy.
Base is under attack.
Base is under attack. Like one little dude just ticking at it.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy. Like, he just would not shut up. Constantly with these things, they would just constantly talk about shit. He's like, bro, are you serious? Are you fucking serious? You call that an attack? Just not enough minerals. So you got the red guy is now the antagonist for the series. So anytime you see a red unit, that's the bad guys. And then you have the purple Zerg, the blue Protoss, and the blue Terran, which weird. I don't know why Carbot didn't choose to do like teal for Protoss, because Protoss teal is usually a thing. I actually quite like purple Terran. Purple Terran or green, like lime green, hard green Terran. Yeah. He's like, you don't see that. Don't see this. Just puts this fucking thing over. I love it. This guy's just sitting here. He's fucking useless. He's like, well, yep, this happened. Come the Zerglings. Yep.
You might know Harbor Freight for affordability. What you might not know is performance.
I know Harbor Freight. I want to know Starcrafts. We're watching this. Fuck off. I don't need tools right now, Harbor Freight. I'm good. I'm enough of a tool as it is. Yeah, so the Zerglings are just chilling. They're doing their thing. Playing around, being dumbasses. Yeah, he just goes full Muto Ball and kills them. Oh no. He just does like the acid ball on him. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Yeah, the mutation stuff is really fun for the Zerg. Again, like, there's so many design elements that you could pull from StarCraft and StarCraft 2 if you did a StarCraft hero shooter of some sort. Like, you did, like, a MOBA, like a StarCraft. Not like a Heroes of the Storm MOBA, but I mean, like, a third-person MOBA, or even, like I said, Paladins, a hero shooter, but with a loadout system, so you could pick out, you know, traits for, like, mutations for the Zerg that you're playing or something. Because if you look at the roster, you have quite a few. I mean, you have, like, out of the Terrans, I can give you 5 for each faction immediately, and that's not even trying. The Marine, the, let's see, so you have the Marine, the SCV unit, the Goliath, the, let's see, the Goliath, the, I'm trying to think gameplay-wise, like, how to tank and stuff fit in, you know. But yeah, no, you'd have the Marine, the SCV, the Goliath, because he's like a walker, you know, he can walk around, he's like a mech, so that would work. Let's see, who else do you have for physical units? You got the Ghost, you got the Reaper, right? So that's 5 right there. That could each have distinct playstyles. Ghost obviously being like a Widowmaker, sniper type of character, right? I love him wiggling his little foot, trying to get the fire out. And he just fucking dies. It's so brutal. It's so cute, but so brutal. That's Carbot's style. I love Carbot's style of everything being like cute, but absolutely brutal. He's like, bitch. He hitting him with the Kamehameha. You're trying to put it on there. The other probe is like, no, fuck you, get out of here. They're trying to stop it from going. I don't know if you could stop those things. I think you could. I think technically they have like a health bar. So it's like other buildings that were getting built. They would have a health bar and you could theoretically destroy it. They're out here just doing the fucking blast. It's so intense, but nothing's happening. It's so basic. Hey dude, we're attacking your shit. Like, yeah! The one with the nail in the board, so good. Like, oh no, no, stop! Oh, just trying to stop the zealot from spawning. Here he comes, everybody's favorite boy. My life for ire. Another classic line from the Protoss. And he gets spawned on the wrong side because the fucking map. Oh, it's so lame. I love it. Yeah, no, I mean that's the Starcraft, like for a Starcraft MOBA, that's that, and then the Protoss. Obviously, you have the Zealot, right? The Zealot, the Dragoon. Yeah, the Dragoon would go kind of hard. Zealot, Dragoon, Archon. The Probe could be a little supporting unit, you know, in that. It could be like a 5-on-5 game of like, hey, you're playing. Okay, cool. What faction are you playing? Like, which factions are facing off? And then each faction has an allegory of like, hey, this one does this one does that, whatever. You know, you can just pick and mix and match. Right? For the Zerg, you've got the Hydralisk, the Mutalisk, the Hydralisk, the Mutalisk, the Zerglings, the little probe guys, little drones, right? The drones. And then you could even do it in Infested Terran. That might be fun. Or maybe you can make that an ability of the Zerg. It's like the drones maybe have their ultimate ability is to infest. If the enemy is playing a Terran, they can infest that Terran and possess that player. And basically it kills that player off and they have to respawn. But now that other thing is walking around. Right? The other possessed one. Yeah. Hall of the Mountain King, so good. Oh no. The selfie. Oh, they just see it in the selfie. It's like, oh, you're telling us that now, thanks. A little late on that one. I love the anime speed lines and shit. So fun. Oh, he's going over there. He's trying to do the thing to spawn something. Yeah, that's the thing with the Protoss. Their guys, the Terran are trained in their facilities. The Zerg hibernate in their hatching, like they mutate, and that's what takes time. The Protoss, they warp all their shit in. So they have to wait until it warps in. So it's super powerful stuff that they have. The Protoss always have like the yeah, they all the Protoss all have the like super good powerful units, like the really cool stuff. But it usually takes them a while for shit to warp in, right? So they can't just rebuild a factory or something, or you know, make more units that easily. They have to like really plan stuff out. Which is why the campaign is sorted as like Terran in the original Starcraft. It's like you play Terran, then you play Protoss, then you play Zerg. For story reasons, yeah, so that there aren't certain spoilers that happen. And then there's the because certain missions cross over and stuff, and certain events happen in campaigns simultaneously. So if you were to play those in chronological order, it would kind of ruin the story. But the other reason is that the Terran are the easiest to understand, right? They have the simplest mechanics. And then the Protoss are a little more complicated, but they're basically just an evolution of the Terran. The Zerg are very complicated. You have to think about how you spread the creep, where you send your guys, what guys you want to make. You know, it's a certain level of difficulty. It's a different way of thinking about units and bases and, you know. Which again, this is what I say, if I just had a StarCraft card game, I'd be a very happy camper, because I could just appreciate the art and the characters, and it'd be fun. Just be big chillin'. He's like, oh, you want some of this? Okay. He goes and warps in another dude. Like, we do this shit again. Just to get another observer. So that's an observer drone, by the way, I think. I think it's what they call it, as an observer. Its one job is to try to do that, you know. He hits the, ooh, super space warp button, and it still goes slow. It's like, give it my shit! Force across. See, this is why you have to spot things, right? If you can't see it, you can't shoot it. Them's the rules of the game. And there's no AoE or forced attacking of an area, right? So you can't just say, oh, I know it's there. I can make my unit attack it. It's like, your unit doesn't have a target. It can't aim its weapon systems at it because it doesn't know where to aim. Yeah. Which is one of those things where it's like, do you really need a mechanic for that? But it's RTS mechanics, you know. So this is the science lab. This is there's like I think it's the Science Academy. There's like a science vessel, and there's also a building that's like the Science Academy or whatever. There's an academy and whatever, yeah. So they're over here mixing up some new concoction. This is how the Terrans get their shit, is they research, right? So they do research to develop new armor, new weapons, you know, things like that. Like, they have that, they're just boosting those systems up or unlocking new systems to try to do things with. Oh no. It's like, great, fantastic, do that. They just go give it to this fucking thing so they can build a new unit or whatever. Here comes the barracks. The barracks guy is like, yo, give me this thing. They want stim packs, so they start working on that. This make me some bliss. I love the really stupid, the really fucking stupid writing. I love it. Oh, that's cute. I've never noticed this before. So you got the infested guy spying on, right? I always looked at this area. Up here, this is awesome. This is a medic healing up. This is how Patches and Crackhead came to be. It's like the medic came by and fixed them. And that's also foreshadowing for Patches having a girlfriend later. Like a medic girlfriend. Yeah, the stim pack buffs your shit. That's why they want it. Oh no. Invaders! Yeah, maybe I should turn this up a little. Problem is if I turn it up that it peaks a little too high. So yeah, I'll just keep it low. Yeah. We'll just leave it at 10%. That's fine. 10% is usually fine. Epic fight time! Oh, get fucked. Because the siege tank, it can only fire at a certain distance. Once you're too close to it, if it's in siege... The tank works, but it does little damage when it's moving around. The reason it's called siege tanks, it stops and it puts out anchors and it switches to a long artillery cannon, which does a fuck ton of damage. But it's a long artillery cannon. It can only attack at a certain range, right? I like this stream. This is fun, just chill stream. It's an excuse to just, I don't know, just talk about StarCraft and how much I enjoy it. I just adore the franchise. Not what the franchise has become. Not the money men, not the bullshit that Blizzard is, because Blizzard's a shit company. Bungie's getting the shit company treatment lately as well, where it's just their, oh my god. He's just waiting. They have to wait for their shit to recharge before they can go attack again. There you go. They had to wait for the turret to go away. But he just instantly turns it back on. They die of old age. Poor little dudes. Okay, here come the siege tanks doing their thing. Yeah, now you get the idea is they mount up and then they just blow shit up. Yeah, Terran versus Terran. Oh, this is a good one. He's got like this firing line going on. Stop the stupid ad. Getting nonsense ads, I swear. They got the red Terrans and the blue Terrans. Donut Marine. Donut Marine's a classic as well. He's sort of the... I would say the Patches or Crackhead of the bad guys is Donut Marine. He's like the main one. He's unique. Yeah. So you can't get any closer, you blow each other up. So with the siege line, if you move any units, they're all going to die anyway, so there's no even a point. They're all just waiting for nothing. And nope, not getting scanned. Don't want to get scanned. Heading back now. They're just dropping scans to see. I love the, like, X-ray through the wall a bit. It's fun. Got this fucking thing. Yeah, this thing, I don't even know what it is. It just, yeah. So now all threats just pop it off because he launched it in the middle and they can blow them up. Yeah, got the big old war. Dudes just shooting the fuck out of each other. So this is essentially making a joke out of like what happens if you have two of the same army go against each other. They essentially reach a stalemate because it's just a clusterfuck of both sides trying to do the same metagame. And they can't because that metagame relies on the other team being different. So, yeah. Oh no! Oh, I got dumped out. But they healed them up. Yay! He just stopped them all at the fucking gate. Dude's going up to check it out, like, I'm gonna fuck you up, and standing on the wall. Really nice detail with the flash in his helmet, by the way, because it's nighttime, so he wants to, Carbot wants to show that, so he just, you know, gets that. Yay, rescued! So this is where it starts, the medic Patches infatuation. Patches loves the medic. Yay, and then the medic, I think the medic does reciprocate. Like, I think it is a two-way thing. It's not just like he has a crush on the medic. But yeah, they're buddies. It's fun. Yeah, this is a long one. I think we've been through most. Oh god, we've only been through like 20 minutes of it. But that's okay. It's been a long day. It's been a long day for me. Like, the clock is just not moving. Again, not that we're like, oh, I want to be done with this. It's like, I do have a movie I want to watch tonight before I, you know. That's fine. It'd be fine. Yeah, so they just stacked up the perimeter, be like, nope, fuck you. Stay out. Nothing going on. The command base is bored. Well, the command center is what it's called. Oh no, here they come. Here comes all the dudes. Yeah, the Terrans are famous for turtling, by the way. That's why this whole bit here is about, you know, them just closing off. They are infamous for turtling. They will hunker down, and as long as they have the resources to keep their shit repaired and their units flowing, like, they will eventually take back whatever you took first. And they'll do it strategically. They'll just start nuking you and bombing you. But the Terran were very good at turtling. Right, they're very good at closing off and just defending. Which is their whole point. I mean, that's, yeah. The Zerg are about aggression. The Terran are about strategic placement of assets. And the Protoss are about space magic, essentially. Like, highly advanced science, you know. So they're... It's sort of like the Zerg are a hammer. The Terran are a wrench. And the Protoss are a scalpel, right? It's the ways in which you use this stuff. Yay! It's just like, you just go to work. You're just happy to go get all the materials. It's like, hey, wait, what? So now we got the Zerg versus Zerg. So we had Terran versus Terran. So this whole arc in the middle of the season is just showing what happens when you have the two guys face off. I like how they just throw up all over themselves. Doesn't really do much, though. They're just, yeah. That one pukes is like a healer. That's actually in Heroes of the Storm, by the way. The Broodmother there that pukes on him to heal him up. that is a healer or a support unit in there. Not to be confused with Brood Mother in Dota 2, who is still technically a support, but can also be a carry. Like, it can... You'd often see Brood Mother either supporting bot lane or midding, like, going mid lane to just hold mid lane and to keep it pushed back. It's like, shh, no screaming. No, shh, die quietly. I'm firing my laser. Just murks them. So this is where the war starts ramping up, is red team just taking everybody out. It's fucking badass, though. The firing lines and all them, it's just... It's awesome. You shoot out all the dudes, they do their thing, they go in this big mashing pit of nonsense. It's crazy. Just waiting for something to happen. Some progress to be made. I think he's a supportive dictator, though. He's just like, yay! My little red dudes, go, yay! He's on the sidelines watching a soccer game. Meanwhile, say now, did we get a recap of what happened with the Zealot, Zealot, you know, whatever. Right. You get a little recap there. So he was going down with the ship, but this thing pulled him out and teleported him. So now he's over here doing his thing. Now we got Protoss versus Protoss.
Base is under attack.
Base is under attack. Oh no. Here comes all the boys. Not today. Yeah. So this is the Dark Archon. The Dark Archon is when those two dudes do the little fusion dance. They come together. Yeah, this dude just says, fuck you, and throws off the cliff. Yeet. Oh, they're having a little birthday party. I never even noticed that. They're just in there. I love it. No, Red Death Ball! Fear is for the enemy, is what he said. Because there's no, Oh, no, there are captions on this one. Okay, good. Because I think Carbot does put little fun captions on his videos of, like, random noises and things. Or am I thinking... No, I'm thinking of Goobus. Goobus puts fun little captions. Yeah. These captions aren't going to help us much. Just, if they say something, I'll repeat the line so you guys can hear it. That's a fun line. Uh-oh. Yay! We win! He didn't even bother animating that shot. He's like, okay, that's too much drawing. Even the sun is like, oh no. Oh no. Just frying them. The sun's like, oh. It just kills the sun. Carrier has arrived. That's a warp gate that's coming through, by the way. That's how they usually arrive, is through the warp gates. Like, yeah, they'll go between planets, but usually they'll send forward parties that then teleport all their other guys there, because it's a waste of time otherwise. Oh, this is the... Is this the thing where he's, like, mining and doing the montage? Yep, the factory montage. So you guys remember the one the Terrans did with the research? Same thing, the Protoss do this, but they just constantly make a bunch of drones. Well, they're not... I think they are supposed to be unmanned drones. They're just these little tiny ships that are super weak, so they go down instantly. But there's like a fuck ton of them, so you just make a bunch of these. That's what the carrier, and the carrier has a limit. Each carrier has a limit of how many it can carry at one time. Otherwise, oh my god, the amount would just be that you would just be able to stack one carrier with 1,000 things. It would just be a swarm of death, which I kind of want to see. Like, no holds barred Starcraft would go kind of hard, but as funny as that would be, doing it for the meme, nah. So, that's the Protoss for you, by the way. They are a battle of attrition, where the Zerg try to rush you, because otherwise they burn through a lot of the resources very quickly. The Protoss take their time, and they plan things, and they just say, oh, well, we'll just keep throwing guys at you until eventually you succumb, right? And then the Terran they say, okay, well, we'll be kind of a balance between that, right? They're more about defensive action rather than offensive action or even future planning. They just go, yeah, we'll just put on all this shit, defend. The best offense is a good defense, you know, that's the Terran motto, basically. Which they actually did in... This is the funniest thing, is in... Okay, so in Starcraft, the Zerg are spreading from planet to planet and eating everybody, as the Tyranids would do in Warhammer. So I've always had the thought of, like, there's already a precedent in fiction for protecting your core world, so why in Warhammer do they even bother having other worlds? They should just have core worlds that are ultra protected by the whole fleet, you know? Which, I know, there's logistical concerns and stuff in there, but in StarCraft, that's basically what happened, was the Zerg was eating the outer colonies, and they basically abandoned the outer colonies and said, fuck it, we have way more people and infrastructure on these core worlds, so they just kept the core worlds, you know, like Earth and all that shit. Like, they kept the core worlds from falling, because they were the moneymakers and they were important. The colonies were just colonies. They were just, you know, establishing those worlds for future generations, but they were like, nope, we gotta stay united and whatever. And it was a whole thing. The story of StarCraft is really good. Even if you don't play the game, getting like a recap of the story, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll become the StarCraft lore guy, you know? Like Luton does for Warhammer. He does these big, long narrative essays talking about the lore of Warhammer. Maybe I could do like a big, long, the lore of StarCraft, like the, you know, StarCraft, the story so far type of thing, and just start at the beginning, work my way through. Do alternate histories, like, you know, the other guy. It's not Luton. There's another guy. I think it's the Omega Initiative, I think, is the name of the channel. He does, like, Fallout lore. So he talks about who's Mr. House, what's this, what that, goes into all the lore bits that we know. And then he even has a series that I quite enjoy where he'll do, like, alternate history. And I'm waiting for the next episode of what if the Enclave survived, right? What if the Enclave won in Fallout? And basically they survived and nothing went wrong, and yeah. What if their plan succeeded, basically? How would things play out? What kind of events? And it's sort of an alternate history take, which is kind of neat, you know. He does voices and stuff, and, you know, makes it this whole sort of ongoing narrative. It's great. Yeah, I do really like StarCraft. I really like the story in StarCraft. There's drama, conniving, betrayals, you know, Hamlet in space type stuff, you know. Just reaching there, he's like, hey, get over here. He just pokes him with the drill. He's like, fuck. And he's like, hanging upside down. So silly. I love it. He's like, fuck you, dudes. Yeah, wait for it. Bunk, bunk, bunk. Scraping his head. And now it sets down. Oh, wait for it. On you. Yeah. It's just like, the building is pissed. I love like Carbot draws angry faces. He really accentuates that eyebrow. That furrowed eyebrow, just, he's so mad. I love it. They all get sucked up, they're going on a mission. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. There's only certain room and storage units and stuff. He had to kick out one of the Marines to make room for the, to make room for the tank. That's what I'm saying, man. Make sure to wipe your feet at the door. I love that line. It's a raining man. He's like, oh shit, oh no. Getting rained on by the Marines of the fucking tank. Just drop on them. That's a big thing for the Terran, is they will turtle, they will get all their troops ready, and then they will send an aerial convoy at you. And they will drop a bunch of troops in the middle of your shit. That's why you have to have really strong air defenses, because if even 2 or... Like, they can send, like, 6 ships, right? And if even 2 of those ships are loaded down with high-tier units, and they just start getting a foothold, they will mess your shit up bad. That's what the Terran are good at, is logistics. They like logistics. Dude over here just aggressively slurping. Bring it on, bitch! Just started fucking it up. No! They're damaged! Oh no. Yeah, we're getting close to the end. Because this is what sends us into Brood War, is the ship getting damaged. There's this whole thing. Like, oh no! But then they get saved at the last minute. The 1 HP. I've played so many fucking video games with health bars that when I see 1 HP, I'm just like, motherfucker. I get so mad that the damage just didn't get rounded off right. Yamato cannon online. It's not the Yamat cannon. It's the Yamato cannon. There's the Yamato cannon, and then there's the Yamat gun. Right, the Yamat gun is the smaller one that they shoot. I used to look at it in there like it's a fucking oven. A little Zerg-shaped oven mitt. Larvas are ready. Yay! They're just making more babies. Here comes the boys! Me and the boys on a Friday night. Just plotting. I love it. Like, shut the fuck up! We're just gonna shoot some shit. Get a brick and a Molotov. Like, no, we're doing this stealthy. Shut up! I like, he dropped the Molotov, so it started... I'm going commando. Love it. The voice lines are so good. Iconic. No matter what unit you choose, they always have really good voice lines. Even the Zerg who don't actually say anything, their noises are really well done. This is why you want the creep to spread, by the way. Otherwise, this happens. You can't do shit about it. Yeah. Your Zergs get really slow when they're off the creep. Not like that slow. That's for dramatic effect, but they suffer. They suffer a speed loss. Just beating this little probe dude with the bat. It's so mean. They're just bullying him, honestly. It's great. I love it. Yeah, Zerg off the creep don't tend to survive. They like the creep. The creep is good. It gives them life. Alright, look, they're playing Hearthstone. Those are Hearthstone cards. Neat. So they're playing with Hearthstone cards. Probably playing poker or something, but yeah. The old fucking... Oh my god. The whistling shit, I love it. Yep. So you made a little copy guy, you can send him in there. So I guess this must have been a strat in Starcraft 2, was like, send your own guy into the middle of the pile, but have the tracker drone on him so it'll blow shit up. Just bullying. Oh no. Just the one little ball. I love it. So this is when Red starts winning the war in Season 3. They just start fucking everybody up. Just yoinking the siege tank further and further away. Slow field, oh no. That's just bullying. That's not even like... Not even a joke, that's just bullying, bro. You just drop them on it. God. This music does bring you back to, like, classic YouTube era, though.
Think all window tint is
Definitely
the
older.
same? Think again. If you want maximum
I
heat
don't
rejection,
want maximum heat
UV
rejection.
protection.
Fuck off. When did window tint even become a thing? Like, I don't get that. When was it like, oh, you know, we made windows for cars. Okay, cool. When did window tint become a thing? Why did we start tinting our windows? You know? It's just weird, man. Weird. Like, was the glass not good enough? Which, I mean, I'm sure there's some safety reason. Like, somebody wanted to come up with tinted windows to be like, oh, there's too much glare outside, so we need to tint the windows slightly so that the driver isn't blinded on a bright day. Okay, cool. Or, like, driving in the snow, you might want tinted, you know, stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. But we don't get blinded by all the white, or blinded by the sun, or whatever. Like, yeah, I could see that. But for it to be, like, a fashion statement now, or, like, an add-on, it's like, why? If it doesn't come standard on the vehicle, then it must not be important, you know? That's why I like the new Slate cars they're coming up with. Well, I say cars, they're the Slate vehicles. It's a modular vehicle system. So it's like a truck, or you can put a back on it, and it'll be like an SUV covered in, right? Or you can do like a Jeep with rails on the back type of configuration. And the idea is that... Okay, then. I like to bust her chops about, you know... Because my mom, sometimes she doesn't do food. She doesn't do, like, dinner. Sometimes it'll be, like, leftovers, or she's not feeling like cooking, so we all just have a sandwich or whatever. Which I'm fine with. I don't care. I just like busting her chops about, like, being a horrible mother and leaving your child to starve, you know? It's just... Yeah. But she equally busts my chops about other things. Like, you're funny, you know? Anyway, so the Slate trucks, though, they're really cool. Because they start with the bare minimum. Right, you can check out their website some of them. It's great, and they're EVs, so you don't have to worry about gas. And since they're EVs, there's a lot less parts that can break on them. Now, if something big does break, it might be a big problem. But the idea is that you can just replace the part, right? And there's not like, oh, we need to fix this. Like, just give us the old part. We'll put a replacement in, and we will fix that old part when we get around to it, rather than, oh, well, this thing's broken. Drive on it and break it more. It's like. The idea is that Slate trucks are either DIY or they will have servicers across the country that can do that. I don't know why I'm shilling for this. I'm not sponsored or anything. I'm just saying, like, it looks like a really good truck. They're claiming, yeah, they're claiming, let's see, under 20,000 is like their estimate right now, is that the trucks will come in at under $20,000, which is fucking insane. Like, if they can keep that statistic, you'll see dudes trading out their big, like, oh yeah, I need Ford Tough, big diesel truck. You're gonna see the guys on diesel be like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll drive one of these little fucking EVs, why not? Especially when you think about, like, a job site, right? It's like, oh, I go to a job site, cool, I have my truck. If you have solar panels on that bitch, like, actively connected to it, and it's a bright day and you're working outside, because, of course, you're working outside, it's bright, you're soaking up all that sun, your battery's getting charged while you're at work. So either your truck is sitting idle, and you have the solar panels on, and you're recharging the battery while you're at your destination, or you're actively using the truck, but still charging the solar cells. So it's like, cool, you know? It looks like something built for the future. It's like somebody looked at it and said, hey, this is an actual thing. Now you have to see what the real quality is of it. But what they're promising looks very promising, right? It looks like, oh, okay, you know, it's an EV. It's got like 1,000-pound pull. You've got, you know, the frunk thing, right? So you got like the front trunk, because it's an EV. It's different, so you don't have all that wasted space, right? So you have the trunk in the front, so the bed can stay free for other things. I want to get one to sleep in. That's my like retirement plan. Is I either want a cheap piece of land somewhere with a little tiny house. Like, when I say house, I mean like a 1-bedroom house, like a log cabin situation where the bedroom is the living room, is the kitchen. Like, it's all... Mainly because I have fond memories of my grandpa's house, and I actually really liked the setup there, where the original cabin was still... Like, it was... He built it up, but, yeah. But yeah, he kept the original... Like, he didn't get rid of the old... He just kept building off that structure and incorporating more things onto that build. But the original thing was just, here's the living room, here's the... Because it was a hunting cabin, so it was living room, you know, decent-sized kitchen, kind of a small kitchen. Not like a tiny, like not a kitchenette, not like a little apartment-type kitchen like I have here. No, it was an actual laid out, like a real kitchen. It is about the same square footage, but point being, that and then like a little, you know, small bathroom, right? I love the guy in the sunglasses. So good. A little Secret Service for the deer leader. Yeah. They're all just... Just eats the microphone. Yay!
Before we keep going, get ready for the strangest.
My hair is a nightmare. I cannot wait to get my hair cut. Cannot wait to get paid from work so that I can go get my hair cut on my next day off and just be like, I'm gonna go to the mall and get my hair cut. I'm gonna have Chinese for lunch. It's gonna be a nice day. Like, I'm just gonna... Because it's the sides. The sides drive me completely insane. But, I'm always trying to fidget with them. The funky beat. Love it. But yeah, no, I either want like a little house somewhere on a cheap piece of land that's like I can just kind of home... not a homestead, like, do a big farm or whatever, just, like, chill, not many bills, whatever. Ideally, by the time I'm an old man and I need to retire in, like, 20 years, whatever, we will have, you know, told capitalism to piss off, right? And we can all just live chilling, but yeah. That or get a truck. So basically, I'd start by getting a better vehicle, get that slate, you know, and then drive that for the next, like, 20 years or so, and then go. So yeah, yeah. Either I'm going to settle down somewhere, or I'm just going to roam. I might roam and then settle down wherever the cheapest place is. Just be like, yep, I could find some work here, do whatever, you know. Dude's grooving. He just gets smacked. That must be what it feels like to work in an office. Like, I would never want an office job. I would never accept an office job, just because office politics, drama, nonsense, just being micromanaged. I can't stand being micromanaged. Like, show me how to do a thing, and then trust that I know how to do the thing. Then if I screw up, let me know I screwed it up, and I need to do the thing the right way. But office is, like Office Space, right? Oh, here goes the big showdown. The Season 3 finale. Yeah, it's like, that's like 10 minutes. So, like, Office Space, there's the bit about the, did you get the memo? You know? My god, Jesus. Crazy. You just keep nagging somebody about something, showing you need to nag them about. This dude's just out here cheating. He's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go all the way up to the big fucking Citadel thing. You're reading the newspaper to be inconspicuous. Macintosh instead of Protoss. Instead of Macintosh, it's a Macintosh because it's Protoss. Yeah. So, Heart of the Swarm and Wings of Liberty. So, those were the two DLCs for Starcraft 2. Yeah. So, you just updated from Heart of the Swarm to Wings of Liberty. Wings of Liberty, by the way, is, like, peak. It's a big, like, yeah. Well, there's Wings of Liberty, which is pretty good. Then there's also Legacy of the Void. Legacy of the Void is a big Protoss center one. So basically, each one gets their own expansion, right? In StarCraft, you had StarCraft, and then you had the Brood War, but that was about it. You just had the Brood War, which had a little bit of content for each guy, but wasn't dedicated. In StarCraft 2, you got Heart of the Swarm, and then Wings of Liberty, and then I want to say it was, yeah, Heart of the Swarm, then Wings of Liberty, then Legacy of the Void. Each one, Heart of the Swarm is for the Zerg, Wings of Liberty is for the Terran, and then the Legacy of the Void, that's for the Protoss. The reason they call that Legacy of the Void is because the Protoss, the Void hungers, you know, back to the Void, right? They have this thing of, like, their soul leaves their body and goes into the Void, and the Void is always reaching out to them. It's a whole mythology thing they have about this abyss in space, you know, that they call the Void. But it's like Void space. It's a whole thing. I'm sure somebody has done a deep dive on this shit, but yeah.
Let's do this. Bring it. Let's have a blast.
Hell yeah. We're just doing it. Let's go, dudes. The big showdown. Enemy of my enemy type shit. Now everybody's about to go fight the Red Army. Yay! Team up! Avengers, assemble! The big mashup. The really fun thing about a lot of these animations is you can get efficient with these, because they're the same units. If you've drawn that particular unit doing that particular walk cycle or something before, it's cool because, oh, it's a different faction. That doesn't matter. You just go recolor it. And if you recolor that section, that's the majority of the work. And then it's just, yeah. Like here where they're both running at each other, you know? Now this has to be like custom drawn because they're both attacking from different angles. You can't really recycle them much. But yeah, it's, you know, some stuff. Oh, you whiffed it. You whiffed the nade. Damn it, Patches. So Patches is sort of a dumbass, in a way, yeah. Patches is the sort of resident idiot. But we love him. He's the lovable idiot. We love Patches. Oh, no. I'm just chewing on the gun. I love it. For instance, the guy jumping up and down there. That's been used before, so Carbot could, even if he has to redraw it for, like, the line thickness to change the line thickness, it makes it easier than drawing it from scratch. You build up a library. In 3D, they call that a pose library. The idea is that you animate something in a certain pose, and then, like, open fist, closed fist, there'll be 2 poses. And so you would be able to just do that and then adjust and say, okay, well, I want a pointed finger. So what you do is you say, okay, open hand, closed hand. And then what you say is, I want a thumbs up. Okay, so you just need to move the thumb. You select that as your pose, and then it's the thumb. Simple. And it saves you a lot of time. 3D animation would literally be impossible without pose library. You have to use them, or else it would take an insane amount of time to do 3D animation. I mean, pose libraries even, like, for stop motion. Stop motion is essentially, the idea for pose libraries came from stop motion, because instead of redoing the same thing over and over, I love the 24 parody, by the way. I love it. The countdown, the drama. But the pose library thing came from stop motion, because in stop motion animation, you'd have characters like Wallace and Gromit, and yeah, they sculpt those unique, but then there'd be other ones, like Nightmare Before Christmas, where they would have interchangeable heads. They'd have like 20 or 30 different heads for the character to make them look like they're talking, so they don't just re-sculpt that every single time. Now, Wallace and Gromit, yeah, they do still work in clay. That's why you don't see a lot of Wallace and Gromit stop motion. It takes them forever to do, because everything that studio puts out is all in pure claymation. Like, they don't use any replacement mouths, or they have to blend it in uniquely, so they have to get a standard mouth, and they have to push it and move it and make it every frame a painting, basically. It has to all these be unique, because that's what gives it that life, that zest. I love it. And again, that's why 3D is a little more canned, because they have to rely on these things, and even with an army of animators, it takes forever to animate things in 3D that are substantial products, like whole franchise and stuff. No! So you use patches. He's mind-controlling patches and beating the crap out of Crackhead. No. The betrayal. Need to get some food here in a minute, but I'm gonna let the season finish up first. Man, I think we'll have like an hour and a half to go? Should be? Something like that? Hour and a half? I love that guy. I don't even know the unit. Like, I don't know what unit that is. But just his cackle, his evil cackle. I just love his shit. So funny. No! Crackhead! Yeah. I obey is what the possessed Terrans and infested Terrans say. That's what happens when I get mind controlled. Fucked him up! Yeah! The zealot wins! Whoa! So happy. He won. And then there's like 5 million other guys gonna fight. No! So this is like very Hollywood cliffhanger. Yeah, Donut Marine is like... Yeah. Donut Marine's the big bad. Well, not... The big bad is this guy, you know. No, Kraken! Fight it, Patches! It's so sad. The betrayal. You can feel for these characters, and they don't even have faces, but you feel for them, you know? This is the series that convinced me that, like, yes, the other guys have faces, but none of the, like, Marines here, they don't have faces. Patches and Kraken don't have faces. They have no eyebrows, no nothing, right? And yet, you can feel every bit of sadness and brotherly love between them and all this. You just know. You get the vibe, right? That's great animation, when you can get a vibe off of the, you know, the thing. Just stepping on its one little fucking hand. Yay! Friends! Yeah, that's not good. The fucking guy kills me every time. Yeah, the one problem is you're losing all your bases. Uh-oh. Dude just drinking it all up. Yeah. So those guys, they need, like, energy. They have to... Yeah, they run on the whole, whole thing. And that's the thing in StarCraft is if you have a unit that's attached to a certain unit... So if we were playing a 3-player game and I destroyed all the buildings of yours, That's why buildings are targeted so much in this series, by the way. Buildings control units. If I destroy all the buildings that control a unit, that unit, like, that player is knocked out of the game, and all their units become my units, right? If I'm the same faction. So if it's Terran versus Zerg, if I kill the Terran guy, I absorb all of his units into me. They become my guys. Yeah. Yay, Kraken. The medic! We love the medic. So this is the lead up to the Brood War thing, right, for next season. You're like, oh no, what's going on with that? So then they go back to Brood War for a few minutes.
Late night coders, early morning gamers,
is it an hour and a half? Oh no, it's like, ooh, you know what? It's been 2.5 hours. We'll finish Brood War. I am gonna keep it as 2 because I'm tired today. I want food. I want to just have some food and relax and watch a movie. Maybe 2.
I normally don't like earbuds, but these things are nice.
Kind of want to, like, I want to watch Thus Spoke Zarathustra, right? I think that's what it's called. Is that it? I saw it in a video essay recently, and it's a movie I've been meaning to watch, but I forgot the name of it until the essay. I believe that's the movie. What, like, there's a movie, yeah, Thus Spake. Is that the one? No, that's not the one. The video mentions it, but this, I don't think is the one. I'll have to look. Feral Historian did a video about a certain thing. It's like something, I don't know. Yeah, it's I believe it's the one where Sean Connery is wearing the orange the jumpsuit. Let's see, Sean Connery. Yeah, because Sean Connery. It's Sean Connery dead at this point? I think he did die. Yeah, he died a couple years ago. Rip, the legend, the absolute legend. Love Sean Connery. Yeah, no, he had, let's see, his filmography. One of these is, I believe it's the one where he was playing, like, the warlord in it. Actually, I loved him. I love League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. They really need to bring that back, that concept, but instead of trying to cram it into a 2-hour movie, spread it out into a show. There's a lot of old ideas that could be done as shows that didn't work as movies, because they didn't have the runtime to really get into it. But yeah. Zardoz. Zardoz is the thing I'm thinking of. Yeah, so it is this thing where he just dressed in this really weird fucking outfit. It's that yeah. So even if you haven't seen the movie, you probably have seen that image of Sean Connery. It's a weird outfit. It's a weird movie. But yeah, that's one. And then I might watch Office Space as well, just because now I'm thinking about Office Space that I mentioned earlier. Carbot. Okay. So yeah, this one's kind of short. So we'll get this one. It'll be like a 3-hour thing, and then we're good. And then, depending on what time I wake up tomorrow, maybe I'll do an early morning stream before I go to work, and then do that. Probably not though. Working days, I don't. Today is an exception because I'm like going into the new week, and I have the rest of the night, not because if it were 2 to 10, I'm not going to stream when I get home because I'm just going to go to bed when I get home. So I wake up in the morning and But again, I could do morning streams, but I just. We'll save the streams for off days, The only reason I was streaming every day is I had nothing else to do. So I was like, alright, yeah, let's stream every day. Let's get through these games, whatever. So adjust. Brood War! I love this fucking thing. I love this menu. This was the Brood War menu, by the way. So if you guys didn't know anything, this was a full, like, interactive menu. The black hole here, that was the exit. So if you clicked on that by mistake, your whole fucking game turned off, and you had to turn it back on, and it would take a minute to load in. The satellite here, I believe, is the settings. This was the custom games, and that is the campaign area. You click on this, and you go to campaign. Something like that. Let's see if I was right. Starcraft menu. What was it? It was... Okay, the image... Okay, this was the campaign editor. I was right. It was campaign, but it was campaign editor. This was single player. This was multiplayer, so you would, because you're on the satellite, you're getting broadcasts to other players around the world, And then the exit is the big black hole down here in the bottom. It's so, everything is very physical. Like, hold on, Starcraft campaign menu. There's like the campaign menu is so, like, even compared to something like StarCraft 2, look at how normal this looks, right? So like, you have your guys standing here. Okay, cool. Episode 1, 2, 3. So you had, for the campaign, it was it was Wings of Liberty, then Heart of the Swarm, then Legacy. I had those two mixed up. Wings of Liberty is Jim Raynor's story. Heart of the Swarm is Sarah Kerrigan's story. Legacy of the Void is Tassadar, I believe at this point. It was still Tassadar was the main guy. I think this is supposed to be Tassadar. But I think it might be a different guy. I don't remember the story that well. But yeah, Legacy of the Void, episode 3 of the campaign. So you had like 1, 2, 3. They each had a dedicated campaign, right? But yeah. And then you have the co-op, the multiplayer, the arcade. You can see how normal this looks for like the year it was made. But then if you look back here at the original, right? Look at how cool this looks. You got this whole Terran command center, heavy industrial hazard stripes, load the save, play the custom, load the replay, right? This was episodes 1, 2, 3, whatever the fuck, right? There was a different menu, right? I believe so. It's basically that same menu, but it's supposed to have different characters from what I recall. So yeah, this is like the Brood War menu back in the day was fucked. Yeah, so this is the one. Is this one I'm thinking of? Hold on. Campaign menu. Is this what they look like? Am I insane? No, this is the remaster. Yeah, this is the remastered models. This is not the original. This was the original. This is, I believe, Ducat, I believe is his name. Ducat. Then there's the Queen of Blades. And then this, I believe, is Tassadar. And then the other one's Tassadar. This one, I believe, is... Oh, God, what's his fucking name? There's so many Protoss. They have different names. There's Tassadar, Zeratul. I think this is supposed to be... I don't think this is Zeratul. I think Zeratul is a Dark Templar or whatever. It's a whole thing in the story, and I don't want to spoil it. The story is really, really good. But yeah. I mean, slight spoiler is that at a certain point in the story, I won't say how, but Sarah Kerrigan, you know the character of Sarah Kerrigan, then you know, yeah. She gets turned into an avatar of the Zerg, the Queen of Blades, as they call her, or she calls herself. She becomes sort of this, the hive mind of the Swarm was disconnected. Like, they were just, like, we're little, like, they were little individual patches. The Swarm didn't really exist in the way we think of it until Sarah Kerrigan, because the Overmind that controlled the Swarm didn't relate, right, to any of the units under its control, because it was a unique unit. It didn't know what other people felt like or what other smaller beings felt like, because it was the Overmind is the psychic culmination of every Zerg that inhabits the Swarm, right? So it's all of their thoughts going into a single being, the Overmind, who is then redistributing orders to the rest of them, right? So it's a hive mind consciousness. It's all linked to one being. Sarah Kerrigan is unique in that she was converted into the Queen of Blades to serve as the sort of general of the army, right? She's there to be unique and to bring unique perspective. That's why they, that's how it happened, right? But yeah, Brood War, man, I fucking love Brood War. So good. Brood War is the DLC. Brood War is not the actual campaign. Like the old maps, the jaggy corners, everything. I love it.
But durability goes right along with it. You see,
Yep. So I crashed into Brood War, and now I gotta fix the ship. And they turned orange, because... Hey, the classic orange Terrans, right? Orange was very popular in Brood War. Because the... Yeah. Yeah, and then there's the green Protoss. I remember them being very green in Brood War. I like how the designs got simpler for some of these. Like, look at the Goliath, just ready to roll out the siege tank. I love it. Yeah, this was a big issue in StarCraft, by the way. In the original StarCraft, they had, like, no AI pathing. AI would just stand there sometimes, so it's like, units could block other units from moving. Pain in the ass. Yeah. That's the Dragoon. The Dragoon, it looks... Yeah. Yeah, so the Dragoons and Goliath, they had movement issues. That's the joke. They didn't always move in the best way. And he's just bumping into all this shit. I love it, man. I think the Brood War season is probably my favorite bit from Carbot's Starcraft. Like, his storytelling is phenomenal, but the like just the Brood War stuff, it's so funny. Just it's the filler episode. It's the beach episode, you know. Actually, no, I take that back. There's literally a beach episode in the later season of Starcrafts. Yeah. But yeah, we'll get to that later in the week. Probably Friday, I think, if I know my schedule. I think has me working through Thursday, so Friday then we'll finish up Starcrafts, and then we can move on to some new game maybe. We'll see. Gotta figure out what I'm gonna play next. I'll look at the backlog. Also, they had a referencing Goliath, ED209 online. And that's a reference to RoboCop. So a lot of voice lines from StarCraft had a lot of references. Yes, that's the Hive Queen or something. So it's kind of like the Brood, classic Brood Mother or something like that. It would burrow and then try to spike through the ground. But there were also buildings that the Zerg could make that were specifically, you had to choose if it was going to be anti-air or anti-ground, and it would also spike into the ground like this. But it wasn't able to move. It was just a building. It was stuck there, right? But these things, these were mobile, you know, versions of that, where they could spike through the ground and, yeah, all that. Run! Fired up. The Fire Bat. Peak character design. Ready to burn. Need a light. Need a light is just one of the best lines from StarCraft. You got this little fucking war criminal over here. Yeah, these things would infect, right? It's gonna throw blood on them, right? If I remember correctly. It's not a unit I used a lot, but this thing would take, yeah, it would fuck shit up for like infected armor, DC. Yeah, it would do that. It would kill something, and if something died while infected, it would break open and turn into smaller thing. It would use it in that way. Yeah, here's the vultures. So these are the classic vultures. The other thing you saw was sort of the upgraded vulture. These are the classic vultures. So they're like a biker gang vibe. They have like red goggles, little bandanas and shit. Like the wild ones, you know, I fucking love it. Dude's driving backwards. Then nailed down, I love it. Oh yeah, these. So they would fire these little poof canisters that were just really annoying. They didn't do much damage, but they would just smack you in the face a bunch. Just shits it out. I love it. Just farts on them the whole time. It's so good. Yeah, vultures were a fucking menace in StarCraft, by the way. These units were... If you had a couple of these dudes running around, they could fuck shit up. And then there's this guy. Yeah, he's like, dude, why are you trying to attack him? It's like, you can't fucking attack him. I have him in a stasis field. Just stop. Yeah, well, actually, technically the Protoss do suspended animation, whereas the Terrans, they're Psychers, they're Psychers, they're ghosts and whatever. They do stasis locking. Right, so they put them in the stasis field. They lock them down. So they're not like separated from the time stream. They're just frozen. It's different, yeah. There's this little fucking bastard. He did massive damage. Very slow. Very armored. Yeah, they're trying to get in. They just can't get in. Because back then you could only have like 4 guys in a bunker total. And then they upped that in StarCraft. StarCraft 2 was basically, hey, here's StarCraft, but bigger and fancier graphics. And, you know, new stuff. I still wouldn't mind StarCraft 3, though. I wouldn't mind. Simply for the fact that I want that to exist. Even if I don't play it, I would, you know, I would like that to exist. Not from Blizzard, though. They have ruined everything. Oh my god. They ruined Diablo. They ruined Overwatch. They fucked everything up. They've let StarCraft completely die. And the fact that they won't even get rid of StarCraft. That's what annoys me. It's like, you don't even have the wherewithal to just be like, yeah, you know what? We're not even using StarCraft. We'll just sell it to some B company. Maybe Larian, you know, could do something with StarCraft. I know their thing is like turn-based RPGs and stuff, but, you know, with Baldur's Gate. But that might be a new wing for them, a new division, you know? Something like that. And just say, hey, you guys can have StarCraft now and do something cool with StarCraft. StarCraft as like a D&D dungeon would be kind of sick. As like a strike team of characters that you get to know, that'd be kind of awesome. Because StarCraft's narrative, it revolves around that too. You know, it revolves around the yeah, get fucked. Yeah, the battle cruisers were pretty, yeah. Yeah, they would do that. They would just snap around shooting at drones. I love it. I love the old school animations where it could only turn in like 2 degrees. Everything's so smooth with StarCraft 2 that it makes it sort of uncanny. Their animations are they're good animations. They're just not as fun and snappy as original StarCraft. My favorite line from the Ghost though has to be you sowed the wind, now reap the whirlwind. Right? Something like that. Because it comes from the Bible verse. You know, we've talked about this before on the channel, which is you know, he who sows the wind must reap the whirlwind, right? Basically, you don't start nothing, won't be nothing. Basically, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do all this. Yeah, these things sucked. I remember these things were terrible. They were so bad. They gave me his own dudes laughing at him. This is why the carrier was such a big thing in StarCraft 1, is because these guys, they couldn't do shit. So, remember in the earlier seasons, the Protoss had these really kick-ass little dudes bullying everybody. Yeah. So aircraft, yeah, singular aircraft attacking things. The Wraiths were not that great in StarCraft. Yeah, so singular aircrafts were not really a big thing until StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2 is where they buffed singular aircraft to where they could just, you know, do that. They could actually do stuff. And these guys would constantly, like, every time you tap on them, that's why they're doing that. Every time you click on them, they do that. So he thinks he's being sneaky, but he's seen by the guy. That's why in StarCraft 2, you have to actually upgrade the guy into being a unit which can see cloaked enemies. But because of this is why they had to make that a mutation. Fucking... I like how this thing is just... This thing's pure anti-air, by the way. That's what it's designed to do. It's supposed to come in and, like... And it doesn't do much damage, but it can very quickly destroy other shit. So he just blinds them to death. It's so funny. Yeah, so the observers were very good at finding stuff. Which is why the Zerg were so big. The Zerg were the big guys in StarCraft. Then there was the Protoss in StarCraft 2. The Terran... Again, it's all viable in its own way. It's just, you have to play it a certain way, and some things were easier to play than others. And, you know, they were statistically superior. Not that they couldn't be beaten, it's just that they would be seen often because of the way they could be played. The music is so good. But, yeah, no, StarCraft 3 would be kind of funny if the humans had a rebound and were like, yeah, now we're the big bads. We're the guys with all the fun toys now. Because in the StarCraft universe, they are behind the Zerg evolutionarily, right? So this is what I was talking about, the mind control from the Protoss. That's what I would do constantly. That's why I would play Protoss, so I could, like, play the other guys too. I would just mind control. If you know this nice touch here, that's a Dark Archon who's red, and he's red like the other guy was red. And so mind control is red in Carbot's universe. It's kind of a fun detail, right? Even if it's not actually that detail, but it's a fun one. Yeah. So here's the poison one. This is the blood. What is it? The brood? Yeah, this is the brood warrior or something. It would come by and would spit that crap on you. It would like poison you and destroy your armor and stuff. But yeah, the Terrans in the narrative of StarCraft are militarily they are superior to Protoss and Zerg because they built a culture around industrial complexes, and you know the military is included in that. Like all of their stuff goes towards let's make the military amazing, you know, because we need to be strong in the outer colonies. That's their whole grift, right? But they are still lacking technologically compared to the Protoss, and evolutionarily, and and by definition, evolution is just biological arms race. So they lose to the Zerg in that front. So it would make sense narratively for StarCraft 3 or whatever new story comes out of StarCraft for the Terrans to now be on a superior footing and to say, oh, we're the strong guys now. We have the purpose-built stuff. We have the fun stuff, Maybe they backward engineer some of the Protoss stuff and they adapt some of the Zergs into some of their units. And so now it's like the Terrans are almost becoming this thing that's a morphing of all three things, So the Terrans are now harnessing the power of the Protoss and the Zerg to their own ends. 88 miles per hour because Back to the Future. Love the references, man. Carbot's really good at references. Of course, this fucking thing's traumatized. It's like, oh god, what's happening? Oh no. What's gonna happen with that one? We'll find out next time. Blue balls! So yeah, as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3. We have like an hour. Let's see, that's an hour plus a half, and then 10 more minutes, and then 7 more minutes. So it's like an hour and a half plus 20 minutes. So it's like 2 hours out of that. Plus, you have to make time for my yapping. So yeah, some shorter bits here. But yeah, he's good. He's good. Anywho, I feel like I should say that, but it would have made one long, one short. So we're going to have like 2.5, 3 hour streams out of both of these, as I had already planned. But that'll be for the end of the week. I got a big work week coming up. I'm just, and like I said, when I'm at work, I think my plan going forward with work on my current schedule, yeah, we'll do streams when I'm off, and then, work Monday through Friday, take the weekend off type of thing. So, like, I'm going to work on art stuff daily, but I'm going to work on it really, really hard in the few hours I have before work, and that way when I get home, I just go straight to bed. I think that's my plan for the future. Seems like a good one. But yeah, we'll see. Things will change eventually. Like I said, thrift shop opened up on the corner. It just takes time because they're still looking at, middle of June before they do any of their training and stuff. So it's like, all right, I'll interview here in the next 2 weeks or so. We'll see. If I nail that interview, golden, and I'm gonna have a nice job in that. We'll see. It'll get me out of retail. There's nothing wrong with my job. It's not a bad job, right? It's not like super busy, do this, do that, do all this. You make sure the store's clean, and then you sell some lottery tickets. It's really not complex. But yeah, as long as I don't have any micromanage. If I'm getting micromanaged, I'm gonna be like, ugh, But yeah, it's still like I don't have to work in food. Like that's something I swore is like I would never work in food again because kitchens. I've been in a kitchen, even in a small amount, and I was like, no. Now I would work at a food place, but I wouldn't work on food. So I could see myself maybe doing a server position somewhere or a host at like a restaurant, something like that. I could maybe do that, and I know there's side work there and whatever, but as long as I'm not stuck in the kitchen, that's the part that just drains me. It just is awful. You're just making the food over and over, and it never ends. Never ends. But yeah, so like the place I'm at, we don't really do a lot of food though. We just have like the roller grill and the coffee. That's about it. But the coffee sort of handles itself. It's fresh brewed. So the beans they use over there is they use beans. So it's none of you don't have to like make the pot of coffee and then clean out the pot of coffee and all that. It's like, nah, just leave it. It's fine. The donuts even. We have donuts, but we don't even worry about them because the donut guys come by every night. They come out at like 3 a.m. or whatever, and they just take the old donuts and put on fresh donuts, and there's really not much to do. It's more than my last job, but less than I would hate to do. You know what I mean? Like it's in a tolerable zone. It's for making some money. That's what this job is for. It's a make money dead end retail job. Which is fine. That's where I'm at in my life. I just want to make some money and chill. So yeah, we'll get on that probably Friday. That would seem to be the day that I'm probably gonna have off. Like I said, I gotta confirm my schedule with the boss because I'm like, hey, wait, I'm part-time, but if I just work today and then I work the next 4 days, it's gonna be like full-time hours. What's going on here? And does that mean I'm gonna get fewer days next week? Because I wouldn't mind that if you want to have like one fewer day that week, or it's like, hey, do you want to just drop Thursday off and say there you go? I don't know. Anywho, that is it for the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had fun. I had fun, reminiscing and yapping and talking about Starcraft and all that. Very fun. I do want to do some art-related stuff for Starcraft at some point. It's like some fan stuff. I think it'd be kind of fun to do. It's a little side project. But yeah, we'll get there eventually. Anyway, that is it for the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then do the usual. Like, subscribe, check out my streams, and I will see you guys in the next video. Here's the Rager, signing off.